leave it to the professionals.
Blessed by Bungie, blah, blah, blah.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been goated when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock, and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the
Started off with a
blockchain.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like LeBron James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a
Bode.
bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, he'll set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in suits. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, mighty, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. Everybody done so, do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below, then head up top, smash that like, repost, and bookmark on the day's space. We greatly appreciate it. It warms up the algo and does us a real solid. Also up top, you'll find the link to the YouTube chat, the abstract chat, as well as the X video feed. Appreciate all the GMers and all those spots. Even Mel, who was the first GM in the video chat this morning, usually first GM in the Spaces chat, but I think I was a little late hitting the go live button, so that's on me. RDL, Zane, appreciate you both over there. Teacher Katie, double dipping in YouTube and abstract. Teacher Katie's, I don't know, she's I think might be having a, I'm not saying she's a farmor, but she's getting after it, and I hope she gets a massive abstract token drop someday. Hopefully no time soon, because boy, oh boy. If I was a team, I would not want to be dropping a TGE right now. It's funny, as many delayed for perfect market conditions, and now seemingly many are rushing to get a TGE out before the end of the year. I don't get it. Makes no sense to me. I would be deferring. Yesterday, during the show, like near the end of the show, we had the major red candle, followed by God candle, followed by, and then we ended the show, and then it pulled back, and I think we ended up down. Bitcoin's back basically flat on the 24-hour. ETH down 1.5%. Alts got crushed anywhere from a few percent down to Fartcoin down 20%, hype down 11%. I put it in the title is the hype over? And it's not over, it's a little hyperbole. Very bullish, hyper liquid long term. However, when I was LPing, like hype was one of the LPs, was my I just got a big announcement coming soon. Sorry, I got distracted. Saw an announcement, saw a text, came in about a half hour ago. Got some alpha. I'm not going to share, not my place to share yet, unless they tell me I can share or tease it. But I'm just going to say this. One of my, make sure this is okay. One of my favorite brands in the space is going multi-chain. That's all I'm going to say for now. Back to hype and really a lot. Big news day. So first of all, if you haven't already done so, give us a like, a repost, a bookmark. We've got a special guest joining us here at 9 a.m. and would love to have a full house in here. They bring a crowd with them. So even if we're not fully loaded with a couple hundred people in here at 9, I certainly suspect the Claynosaurz community will roll deep as they often do. Excited to chat with that team. I think there may be an announcement or two, some alpha coming out of that group as well. So you're definitely not going to want to miss our special guest at 9. Some flyover. Well, I got a lot I want to get into. Busy morning. If anyone wants to join any of these conversations, as always, open stage. I have to disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, certainly not your financial advisor. Don't join us for that. Just join us for some fun, some information, maybe a little bit of education along the way. A lot of news yesterday. Don't forget it. The crazy volatile market. It is not normal price action. No one can convince me otherwise. People with a lot larger amount of capital than myself doing some chart things. I really don't even know what to make of it. Maybe some of it was speculating on the Trump announcement last night, which ended up to be, I don't want to say a nothing burger. It's awesome that our military, I don't know, I assume it's active military getting $1,776 stimmy. I think that's maybe, I definitely don't think that's the end of stimmies. I think that maybe this is like a smaller test, a smaller group, a smaller amount. I certainly expect something else coming, whether it's the tariff rebates they've teased, or I think percent said a 1,000 to 2,000 tax refund. Like, I'm pretty sure something's coming in Q1. As I've said before, I think a large portion of that will go straight into casinos, the casinos of their choice, whether it's lottery tickets or scratch offs or prediction markets or sports books or crypto or soon PERPs on equities on Coinbase. We'll get to that in a second. If anyone, Bonfront, I no obligations, no pressure. I know you watched the Coinbase announcement as well. That's the most notes I have coming in today, is to break that down. Pretty major update. I'll go grab it, pin it up top. Don't leave us. So don't go watch the video. It's like an hour long. I'm also going to give some feedback while I'm at it on this exact topic on Coinbase. Maybe there's no way when they do the video like this, but like on a space, after the space, if I wanted to choose a start time, I can. This is like it looks like it's like I don't know, like a 90-minute video. It's not. It's like 60-minute presentation, but the first half hour is just like, this show will begin momentarily. Be better. That's it. I mean, the suggestion, the solution is don't have 30 minutes of dead time in a recorded video. I think you can cut that out at post-production. If not, maybe don't. I mean, I understand why you want to warm up an audience. I get that. But for the recordings, unless you just can't do it on a video on X, maybe that's the case. If so, Elon, fix that and make it so just like you can on Spaces, where you can, set the start time where it actually starts, or in the first comment say, hey, the presentation starts at 29 minutes and 30 seconds into the video. Because first world problems. I'm not going to rant any longer on that, but mildly frustrating trying to find the starting point. Yeah, they did it last time too. So I do want to dive into the Coinbase conversation. I have a feeling there's a lot to unpack there. I have a feeling there's probably going to take the bulk of the next 50 minutes. A couple other flyovers items, and then Oxy, I'm guessing you came in to get in on either yesterday's crazy price action and volatility in the market, or this Coinbase presentation. In addition, so the other things, in addition to the coins, we had Gandhi making a splash. It seems like a small deal, but they added 0 fee peer-to-peer trading to its platform, inviting everyone to make offers and close deals. Gandhi trades. You know, I was going to post the Gandhi trades, but instead of that, I'm going to give my guy Bored Ape Gazette some love here. If you're not following Bored Ape Gazette, go give him a follow. It is, yes, it's Yuga ecosystem, it's ape ecosystem centric, but just one of the great content creators, one of the, I think, really, truly underrated content creators in all of crypto and Web3. I think doesn't get the credit probably deserves because he is ape centric. But the guy just, for all intents and purposes, has been as consistent as us here on Coffee with Captain for as long as I can remember, just in the written form. So a great follow, great account. Go give that a follow. He also tagged the Gandhi official account. So if you want to see the announcement directly from them, you can click through. Normally, we may not even hit on peer-to-peer trades. It's not new. It has been out before. It's noteworthy because what I saw was a lot of crypto Twitter directly tying that into OpenSea, which no longer has that feature. And I'm going to hold on my other comments until we start talking Coinbase, but I think it's a direct shot at OpenSea and some of the NFT. I don't want to say NFT purists. I don't know if that exists anymore. Some of the, those that are deep in NFT collecting, trading, etc. A lot of people use Gandhi. A lot of people use Gandhi for loans. I could see them making a bigger push and capturing a material amount of that market share as far as NFT marketplaces go. Maybe I'm wrong, but the response on crypto Twitter from a peer-to-peer NFT trading feature was way more than you would normally expect. And I think it correlates to OpenSea and many of the market participants' frustrations with their rewards program, which is being convoluted with a pre-TGE farm. And I text someone this morning. Steve has a massive job in front of him, and I told him this morning. I'll share on the show. Like, I think it might go down. Like, he lands this plane on this rewards and TGE, all that leading into it. Like, I told him, I go, they literally they owe you legit generational wealth, because I don't know if there's a person in the space that can attempt to navigate this. It's just a very, and a lot of what I think he's solving for, fixing now, is challenges, problems, things that he inherited. It was all communication. Things were already rolled out, already done before them, and very, very challenging thing to course correct. I see some doopies out there. That's the other flyover news, is they did reveal, I guessed a 0.5 floor. Maybe I think it will get down there eventually, but right now their floor is sitting, only dropped 26%, which post reveal is not bad. I mean, you got to figure in, when they had 151 101s, that expected value was certainly baked into the floor price pre-reveal, which basically ended up being right at mint price. Floor now is 0.79 SOL. I did see a lot of rares. I saw a lot of one of the 101 sell quickly, like soon after reveal. I'm just scanning the last few hours. Doesn't seem like many of the rares, most are like floor slightly above, but people are collecting what they want to collect. Reveals are fun. There's one for 3.2 SOL. A lot of seemingly, I don't know, I'm assuming with intent, a lot of like sexual innuendos in this collection, which I wasn't expecting. Some unique, some interesting ones, some odd ones. But the art's it's unique. It's very on brand for Doodles, and I wish things would have transpired a little differently in terms of their execution and communications around that mint. I think things could have turned out significantly differently, but I hope some of my friends pulled some rares. Hope some of you were able to collect what you want, and I do miss reveal season. So other news items, and then I promise Oxy will get you in here, and then we'll welcome Rex to the stage after that. So we hit on Gandhi. Talk about is the hype over? It's not over, but short term, a lot of pressure on that token. For the first time, I considered unstaking my hype. I don't have a ton, but at this point, it's like I think I still have to wait 7 days anyways, and I don't have a place I would necessarily rotate that into other than stables, and I feel like I'd be selling a bottom, although it's not. There's a lot of sell pressure, seemingly. Now, we talked yesterday, they're going to burn their assistance fund, I think it's called, which really wasn't being used. It was kind of where those tokens were just going, when they were buying back tokens, what they would go into, but it wasn't like it wasn't a ecosystem fund or I still don't really know why they did it initially, as opposed to just going direct to a burn. But I think that'll probably end up getting burned. I think it's like 13% of the circulating supply. The other issue, two challenges for Hyperliquid. One is Coinbase. We're going to go on that conversation here in a second, because a lot of people talk about becoming the everything app. It's early, they just launched, but Coinbase is doing it, like making, from my perspective, the best we've seen so far with, like, man, and they have just like I'm going to hold my more Coinbase thoughts, because that'll probably take us off on that tangent. Anyways, last thought on Hyperliquid, then we're going to go to Oxy and get your thoughts on all this. I'm taking it at face value. I take it to be true. I didn't confirm it, but Kook sent this out yesterday. So Hyperliquid team unlocks are just under 10 million tokens a month for 23 more months. That team didn't take a dime. They just hit their year anniversary. I assume some of the teams sold after their first unlock, but unlocks continue for another 2 years, and it's just under 10 million tokens per month. So relative to that assistance fund, which has accumulated 37 million tokens since its inception. He follows on his own comments here. In his opinion, we see hype under $10. Nothing can offset these unlocks unless they don't sell. And he says, I'm DCing all the way down, by the way. So that's kind of where I'm at. I don't think I'm a buyer here. I probably should unstake and sell. I'm just going to let that ride and consider buying. If it goes under 10, I will be a buyer. However, the other now headwind they're facing is direct competition from Coinbase. Coinbase is launching, or it's maybe launched PERPs and DEX, and we'll get into all that in a second. But I want to take a beat. Welcome Oxy that says, Oxy GM, appreciate you jumping up. Really been enjoying our conversations here over the last month or so on coffee. What spoke to you this morning? What particularly is it? The price action yesterday? Is it Hyperliquid, Coinbase, Gandhi, all the above? Take it wherever you'd like.
All the above, man. Really. I mean, and likewise, it's been great being up here so much recently and chatting with you. It's been a lot of fun. But yeah, it's a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. I mean, I think the Hyperliquid news is obviously interesting. It really is going to boil down to, I guess it ties into Coinbase a little bit. It's going to really boil down to is where people feel comfortable trading with leverage. You know, at the end of the day, if people start trading perps on Coinbase, and then their account gets locked, and that whole thing boils to the surface again, where people don't feel comfortable using Coinbase, then maybe they're really going to be looking for something like a Hyperliquid or another DEX. And something, I guess, something interesting about all that is currently Hyperliquid isn't available in the US, but Coinbase seemingly is allowed to
Riddle me this.
offer perp.
Yeah, how does that happen? Is it Hyperliquid simply taking the super conservative approach and like we just don't even want to go there, or did Coinbase go secure some sort of license or something that enables them to do this? I know this probably sounds ignorant coming from. I just don't know. I don't understand how they could launch this, and Hyperliquid is still. I have to go to Germany every time I want to trade perps.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't really understand it either. And there's been a lot of litigation by the SEC on perps platforms in the past for companies offering perp trading to people in the US without restricting it. So I'm not super clear on this. This is someone else might know better than me on the legalities of it. But I guess if Coinbase is doing it, I don't know why Hyperliquid wouldn't follow suit. So all that to go back and say like, okay, Coinbase, I mean, they're positioned really well. A lot of people have their crypto on Coinbase, especially in the US. If they can trade perps right from their account there, then the friction isn't there to have to transfer on Arbitrum USDC to Arbitrum, and then from Arbitrum deposit into Hyperliquid, and then that whole rigmarole. So
I think
I think it's interesting.
I feel like you're taking a direct shot at Crocs there. Crocs, when you listen to this playback earlier, it's a joke. But yeah, it's like I like Hyperliquid platform, but I also know you do gotta kind of. I mean, it's not overly difficult. It's also not nearly as intuitive and easy as will be on Coinbase.
Sure. Yeah. No, completely agree. And I guess related to just Hyperliquid in general, I think I understand the concerns with team unlocks and selling. We always knew this was going to happen, and I think the price is going to hurt because of it, just because the team, I don't know, I think if the team has tokens, they should be allowed to sell and make a little bit of money off of their hard work. I do feel that way. But at the end of the day, I think it's the best decentralized platform, decentralized with quotes around it, I guess, platform out there that offers this service. So I think it's positioned well. So I don't think it's in trouble, to be honest. Like, I think there will probably be some PvP there between Coinbase and Hyperliquid, but there's always going to be people that are on chain only that are going to be trading on something like a Hyperliquid.
Yeah. One other question on that, like, this is also probably like odd to say, but I'm trying to get the words out so I don't sound like a freaking idiot. But wouldn't it be better to trade perps on Hyperliquid? Like, these whales are, when they open up positions on Coinbase, wouldn't it be better to trade perps on Coinbase? Because when these whales open large positions on Hyperliquid, it's on chain and everyone can see it. And whether it's James Wood, what was the guy who got, whether it's Machi or James Wynn, or like, they get attacked. Like, I'm certain that maybe it's not coordinated, but I think probably has been. Like, is this making any sense at all? Like, isn't there a quote unquote competitive advantage to opening, especially if you're going with size, opening those positions on Coinbase where the general public can't see who and what exactly is doing it?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, I think what the concern might end up being is, will Coinbase be the one that's kind of going after them? Because they're going to be the ones eating off of the liquidity or liquidation events, kind of a deal, if they're playing the other side or what have you. So, this was kind of the whole thing on the timeline where people were speculating, oh, okay, it's actually Binance that's going out and liquidating these people so that people will move to their exchange and then they can make money off the fees and the liquidations and whatnot. So yeah, it's a good question. I don't know how they're going to have it set up. It's probably going to be a black box that only they can see who's opening these positions and whatnot. But again, it's going to be on Coinbase. It's also going to be KYC-DU. So people try to avoid that, or like big whales try to avoid that when it comes to comes to their trading and their money. So Yeah, it's an interesting point for sure. I don't know how they're going to have that set up, like if it's going to be a black box and no one can see what their trades are.
You would think, right? Because that's how it is on everything else on Coinbase, unless
Yeah.
this new DEX is truly open and an open public ledger. I don't know how I feel about it. Like I certainly appreciate options. I certainly appreciate the ability to custody my own assets. I'm lagging on video. Is my audio coming through, everyone? Can you give me a confirmation in all the chats if am I glitchy at all, or am I good? You're good on stage. Okay, thanks. I appreciate the ability to custody my own assets. I think blockchain and permissionless and public, like, it's all great. At the same time, I'm going to start sounding like MERP. Privacy does matter. And for many reasons, I can see why funds and high net worth individuals don't want it to be known about their 6, 7, 8, 9-figure, open positions. I don't know. Moving on from that, a lot to unpack from this announcement. Before we continue on with everything that Coinbase rolled out, and I don't think there's much else to hit on Gandhi or necessarily hype or hyperliquid directly, although it may interweave with the Coinbase conversation. Before we go there, Rex, GM, welcome to the stage. I think first time caller. What brought you up this morning?
Hey, GM. Yeah, no, it's been a while since I hopped up here. I've been just kind of in the crowd learning and listening quite a bit lately. The reason that I wanted to hop up was because yesterday I actually was in the scenario where I was trying to trade NFT for NFT, and I actually I tried SudoSwap, Rarible, because OpenSea, as you said, I looked up the reason why, and they said it was because it was too complicated on the V2. But regardless, I got to give some flowers to Gandhi, man. They that system, it was seamless. It worked so well. I was a little sketched out at first because I had never heard of it, so obviously I did some research before I did it. But my gosh, man, they did an incredible job, and it went through perfectly. And yeah, I mean, it was just really nice to have a platform again that we could do that with, because I was really bummed out when I found out that OpenSea got rid of it. They said there wasn't a ton of people using it, but I mean, geez, what else are you gonna do in that scenario? Like, trust trades that's just the worst thing you could do, right? So yeah, I just wanted to, like I said, give a shout out. That was really, really nice to have.
Can I ask, and I'm not trying to dox you by any means, are you in the US? Feel free to no comment if you don't want to answer.
Yeah, no, yeah, I am. I actually live in Florida, so yeah, no worries, man. I stream live and everything for gaming and stuff, so
awesome.
No worries.
Awesome. Great state, by the way. I'm a big fan. So my question then is, because I'm familiar with Gandhi. I've been on it. Actually, we need to get the founder on here. We've been back and forth many times, and this would be a good time to reach back out. But when I first attempted to use Gandhi, I couldn't. It was geo restricted, and I couldn't use it in the States. Did you? I'm sorry. This is probably inappropriate questions to be asking you on a live recording.
No, it's fine. I had no VPN, and it went through absolutely perfect.
Awesome. That's what I was going to ask. Like, I wasn't.
Yep.
So that's new. Like, you used to have to, leave the States or use a VPN. So yeah, that's also noteworthy that it is now no longer geo restricted to the States, and presumably other regions as well. So yeah, so is it again, it's not a new feature. It's not oh my God, this is incredible. We can now trade. I think the timing of it matters. I think I didn't choose my words carefully here. I use OpenSea. Steve's one of my best friends. I'm rooting for them. I hope I get a big giant bag of OpenSea token allocation. I think it's very clear that the sentiment from crypto Twitter and NFT traders as it relates to OpenSea is not great right now. And it's not just the D farmers of the world. The calm, cool, and collected B check was stating his frustrations with the, you use the words farming their users. It is a rewards program. It's a good rewards program. It's just, it really is getting convoluted with their upcoming TGE. And I think had they launched the C token back in January or June or whenever earlier in 2025, I don't think people are complaining about this rewards program. I don't. It's a good rewards program, and it took me a while. I was very vocal against it. It took me a while to understand the differences of rewarding their loyalty for TGE and then this rewards program. They are separate. They're separate buckets. I'll take them at their word for that. That said, the market, it's not landing with the market. The market is continually, I mean, you just see it on the timeline. Anytime there's, oh my God, another wave. They straight up said the foundation, separate entity, has mentioned, TGE is coming in late Q1, I believe was the exact words. I could be wrong. I know Q1. I think they said late Q1. So this isn't going to be the last wave. There's probably going to be, if you just, let's say it's March, there's probably going to be at least 6 waves would be my guess, maybe more. I got to imagine it's frustrating there because it is a good rewards program. They're working really hard. They got a great team. And with it, most in crypto, it's hard to make everyone happy. This one just seems to be and NFT sentiment is at all-time low, which is, their core user base. So they've got a lot of headwinds. They're attempting to navigate. That's actually pretty good use of headwinds and navigate. And we're talking OpenSea. It would be more fitting if Steve used Captain as his handle versus me. If I could go back to 2021 and run this whole thing back, I'd tell Steve he needs to be captain. We could do coffee with captains is what we should have done. Damn it, Steve, that was right there for us. Now it'd be perfect. The captain left coffee with captain to go steer the ship through the headwinds. I'm ending that. It's sounded a lot better in my head before I started talking out loud. I digress. Point being, as I think the reason there was maybe more of a buzz around peer-to-peer NFT swaps when no one's really buying, collecting, or trading NFTs is because it is a direct shot at OpenSea and it's a feature for NFT traders that they no longer have. So it's like, I think that's why you saw so many people talking about it, is this collective frustration with the OpenSea rewards program and that they haven't TGE'd yet. And a lot of people, they don't, I'm sure there's some people, myself is one of them, that I really care about OpenSea. I care about my friends there. OpenSea is one of the, like, if you had to list who are 10 companies in crypto, 10 crypto native companies that have a very realistic shot that should be a going concern 5 years, 10 years down the road, they're on that list. Like they've received a lot of funding. They've done well. Like they are largely, they played a big role in the NFT mania, in the NFT boom. If not for OpenSea being there, I don't know what that cycle looks like. I'm guessing a lot of people probably would have gotten scammed and like it would have been, maybe it doesn't catch the momentum it does. Like they played a key role. They're a cornerstone of the crypto native protocols, platforms, certainly marketplaces. And they have navigated other treacherous storms and attacks, shots at their bow. I'm really pouring it on with the sailing puns this morning, but bear with me. I mean, it was first Looks Rare in a vampire attack, and then you had Blur and Blur farming, and then you had Magic Eden. Like they've made it through at least 3, and there was others as well. But they've navigated a lot, and of all those I just listed, very, very clear to me, they're first in class when you talk about NFT marketplaces. Now, herein lies the challenge. NFTs aren't enough to sustain and grow that company. It's just not. It's a niche. Unless and maybe this is it. Maybe this is, I'm just talking out loud. I don't have the answers. Very tough. And I'm not envious of that team and having the decision they have to make right now. How they navigate this is a challenge. Maybe I understand they got to grow more. They got to do more than just NFTs. There's just not enough revenue just in NFT, collectible NFTs today. Maybe there is an opportunity in all things NFTs, from RWAs to more collectibles. Maybe they acquire someone like a Courtyard or a BZ. Like maybe, like I just zooming out, trying to remove myself or any emotions or personal feelings from the situation. It seems like a lot of the major crypto players are attempting to build an everything app. I think sometimes, and I get it, I understand why. I also believe sometimes specialization matters. Sometimes, like, go back to, I think I've mentioned Good to Great by Jim Collins before the book. Like, what can you be the best in the world at? Maybe you don't have to be the best in the world at everything. I don't know as if OpenSea is going to, I mean, they could be the best in the world at token swaps with fungible tokens. What I think they have a lead on and still a market dominance is non-fungible tokens. So again, talking out loud, I'm just thinking this through, especially after Coinbase's announcement yesterday, and we are going to get into these, I promise. I don't know, maybe strategically it makes sense to do more than just NFT marketplace, but maybe becoming the everything app for crypto is more challenging than, like, are you going to get 100% of that pie? No, it's just not going to happen, especially now where you've got Coinbase who's got a lot more customers, better distribution, and in a better top of funnel. It just is what it is. And they're building that. Whereas you're never going to get 100% market share there. I'm not saying you get 100%. You're not going to get 50% market share there probably, but maybe you can get a dominant market share in the world of non-fungible tokens, beyond just collectibles, beyond just NFT, PFPs, and art. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what the realistic timeline for all other non-fungible tokens in terms of RWAs. I don't even know how they play in that world. I'm just, again, thinking out loud. Rex, go ahead and get back in here, respond to that. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip the title while you do it. We're going to start breaking down these. I had 5 or 6 pretty key bullet points from the Coinbase announcement, but go ahead, Rex.
Hey, I just wanted to 1 second what you're saying about OpenSea, and I really hope for their success. Back in, I think it was like 2020, before Blur, there was nothing else, right? Like they were the one and only, and they've always had smooth trading. They've always been a safe and secure network or platform to trade on. I, for one, would be super bummed if they were not here in the future. With that being said, I also agree that it's a small niche in the large world of trading that NFTs solely to survive on, especially in this particular market. I would love to see them maybe develop like partnerships with similar but different companies. Maybe like, I know it's crazy, but like MetaMask or something like that, like create some sort of like a mutually beneficial partnership, right? And grow together in a way that somehow it could, like, maybe they come up with their own scenario that just like blows the market out of its shoes. I think that would be pretty cool. I also think with Gandhi and them not doing this anymore, I don't necessarily look at it as a bad thing either, because Gandhi, like them building their name, right? They need something to kind of stand out as well besides just the token, right? And I think that created a good segue for them to kind of like a necessity. And so all in all, I think that was a good move on their part, one, to do it when they did. But I also think that, OpenSea, I guess it wasn't because they didn't want to do it. It was something to do with their platform, the V2, and it just was too difficult to create safe trading. So I think that was good for them to step up and say, like, we're going to take this out because, ultimate safety for the traders, I think, should be first and foremost, Anyway, I just want to say shout out to OpenSea too. I really hope they succeed. And shout out to Gandhi for, creating a smooth trade for me yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't like. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a dev. So I'm not one to speak on this. This is again probably another ignorant take, but I don't understand why it's hard. What's hard about a peer-to-peer swap? I don't. That's probably again. I don't even know. I'm not qualified to speak on that. I'm sure it is. I'm not trying to downplay any devs or technical expertise, but of all the stuff they're doing, you could buy any NFT with any token on any chain. I would think my brain says probably a easier technical lift than some of the other stuff they've done. And like they have a very, really talented team of engineers. Like they're doing some cool stuff. That's one I struggle to reconcile. I'm not saying they should react immediately and bring peer-to-peer swaps back, but the overarching point is, I think the reason this is even a news item, something that we're spending minutes on, let alone a flyover on the show, probably wouldn't even mention it if this is done 8 months ago when OpenSea saw the feature and there wasn't this ongoing frustration with their rewards program. Oxy, I want to bring you back in here. I know you said you have some thoughts on this, so maybe let's start. This probably wasn't the topic I thought we would start with. We talk about Coinbase announcements. There's several. I actually do a thread on this today, because I don't know if I've seen a good post on here's everything they announced yesterday, breaking down that video. Video is posted up top after the show. Don't do it right now, but after the show, I would recommend. It's probably a good listen. I thought they really had me. Like I was like, holy cow, it's a great event. And then I was like, I was nodding along, everything was good, and then they brought on the Creator Coin guy. And I'm like, man, you like all the like goodwill and excitement you just built in me, you just lost it when you have someone shilling Creator Coins on stage. I digress. So it's not actually. You know what I am going to do, since I had to listen to the Creator Coin conversation? I'm going to do this. Oxy, let us know what you think about stablecoins. And the other quick announcement I'm going to slide in there, self-serving, is the Base app is now out of beta. It's open to everyone. So I'm going to drop my ref link in the chat. I'm going to pin it up top. If you've not downloaded the Base app yet, do me a favor and click my ref link. I'd appreciate that. It's rare that I don't shill ref links too often, but this is day one. And yeah, I would appreciate a little extra love. If you haven't done it yet, no obligations, or if someone wants to sign up, use mine and then drop your ref link in the chat, you can do that as well. But Oxy, take us through, why would someone want to, I guess, I don't know the best word I can, like private label, white label, a stable coin? Why would they want a custom stable coin in partnership with Coinbase versus just using USDC or another one, or launching their own without Coinbase?
Yeah. So some context here. So Coinbase tweeted, introducing Coinbase custom stablecoins, create a branded stablecoin for your business, backed one-to-one by collateral, custodied by Coinbase. And then bullet points: earn rewards on activity, seamless interoperability across chains, tap into Coinbase's global distribution. So I didn't even see this part or this clip or anything like that, and then Brett retweeted it. And this is really weird to me, because obviously I don't know the structure of how they're doing this, but a lot of speculation is that it's just USDC wrapped for a ticker for whatever company wants it. So Starbucks wants a stable coins. It's USD wrapped to be star or whatever, and it's their stable coin that's pegged to $1. I guess I don't really understand the point of this, because the reason why people are getting into stable coins isn't because they want the ticker. They want the yield that's behind, backing the stable coin. So like Mega East with USDM, the reason why they're issuing their own stable coin is because they're earning 4% for every minted token that's out there, for every dollar that's out there. So I don't understand like what the product is going to be, given how close Coin has been tied to, or Coinbase has been tied to Circle and their USDC relationship there. It makes me feel like it's just a wrapped stablecoin for Circle, which then would mean that the companies that are issuing their own white label stablecoin aren't actually going to be earning the yield, because Circle's going to be earning it, or at least not the 100% of it, which is just kind of odd to me. Like, because I don't think that's the point of people wanting to launch their stablecoins right now. It's because they want that yield. So I don't know. I guess I don't know how this mechanism is going to be, how this mechanism is going to unfold or this product is going to unfold for them. But if it is just Wraps Circle or Wraps USDC, I don't think that's going to be very successful considering some of the other options out there right now.
Yeah, I agree. And then also I go back to if Coinbase is gonna lean into this so much and wrap stables to brand them for others, why don't they launch their own stablecoin? Why are they still giving like that?
Yeah.
The Circle and Coinbase relationship has never made sense to me on both parties. But because I feel like they're at a point like why does either one need the other? And I don't know who's winning in that relationship, and maybe that's the answer for Coinbase. It's like they're printing off USDC, and it costs them more to launch their own. But if they're gonna continue to do more in the stablecoin space and help others launch stablecoins, wrapping you like I don't know. That's I've never really understood that relationship. It always seemed like a very big. The split just seemed odd to me.
Yeah. I completely agree. In Coinbase is for sure winning on that relationship, in my opinion. They're the distribution ledger for Circle, but that's like the relationship, I guess. But Circle is just basically giving away a huge percentage of their revenue to Circle simply because Coinbase is such a big player in the space. But at the end of the day, I don't think Circle needs Coinbase that much anymore, considering how mainstream it is. It's either one or two on pretty much every other chain that's in existence. It certainly is. So I just don't really understand the relationship there. I also don't understand why Circle wouldn't offer this service themselves, if that's really is the what this product ends up being, is just Wrapped Circle or Wrapped USDC. So yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. It's kind of confusing to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, same. Gary, go ahead and get in your thoughts on stablecoin or something else bring you up this morning.
Yeah. So my opinion is, stablecoin as a service, most companies are going to end up with their own stablecoins. It's going to replace what we see as gift cards today going forward. I think it'll take a couple years.
Interesting.
Stripe's doing this. So Stripe partnered with Phantom. Are you aware of that?
I don't know.
Okay, so Phantom has cash. So if you open up your Phantom app now, you have a full banking portal in your Phantom app, in your wallet, that lets you get a debit card and lets you swap to cash and lets you spend it in a bank account and all this stuff. That's powered by Stripe. And Phantom Cash is backed by over $100 million right now. They're one of the fastest growing stablecoins. So stablecoin as a service will be the future. Companies don't really want a token until we can tokenize equity legally. But US-based companies or other jurisdiction-based companies don't want a token that's priced because it creates a sentiment issue. But a stablecoin creates a functional issue that we all need. We need to process and we need to spend our capital. And it's stable. So I see stablecoin as a service being a benefit for both Coinbase or Stripe and the merchant, because they get to control the yield. They get to put that cash or stablecoin in someone's wallet. They get to brand around it. They get to build around it. They get to program around it. And it is interoperable. So I think that a lot of businesses like the Starbucks of the world and stuff will end up with a Starbucks coin. It's not going to be a coin that has volatility. It's going to be a coin that is stable based on a government currency, so they can process commerce around it. I think the U.S. government's pushing for that too. So we get a U.S. dollar as a global reserve stable on chain, just the same as we have a U.S. dollar as a global reserve off chain.
Yeah, good take. Von Front, I'm going to go to you next, because are we now seeing, did Gary just describe the evolution of brand coins?
Hey, GM. Yeah, actually, Gary took about 70% of what I was going to say. So I think it's not brand coins in the way that we see it today, right? So brand coins in the way we see it today, and Rect is, I'll just use Rect as the only one that I'll put in that category for the definition of how we'll talk about it for the next however many minutes, right? where it's like a priced coin that can fluctuate and be used as rewards and all that kind of stuff, right? And I think when, I'm old enough to remember when there was a permanent co-host of Coffee with Captain, and he was always bearish on brand coins because of the fluctuation. Now, he talked about it from a consumer standpoint, right? We all lost our damn minds when we would buy $70 worth of wrecked drink, and the token that we got as our reward pumped to 500, right? Our little degen minds freaked out about it. But dear God, had it gone the other way and we got, $5 back, or maybe it was worth 30, and then by the time the Jupiter Unlocked came out, it was worth 5, we would have lost our minds the other direction. Stablecoins fix this from a consumer standpoint, because now I know what it's going to be, right? I know how much my Starbucks stars are worth. I know how much my Delta airline miles are worth. I know how much my Marriott Bonvoy points are worth. It's predictable. I can build an economy around it. And so I think even more so than gift cards, and I won't take credit for this, I put this thread in the war room. If I get to a point, I'm driving right now, but if I get to a point where I can post it up on the space, I'll do that too. But I look at this as to Gary's point, the evolution of loyalty and rewards programs in the real world, where they are no longer a liability on the balance sheet, where you're just saying, oh dear God, I'm going to have to cash these in at some point in time. If I kind of hope somebody, if I'm a CFO, and this is what the thread says, I kind of hope somebody is going to forget to redeem their miles, their points, their stars, or whatever, and then I can write off the liability. Here, it sits as an asset on the balance sheet. However the yield mechanics work, it may be a yield generating asset on the balance sheet. And then everything that Gary said, I can program around it. I can build commerce around it. I can do all the other things that I can do with an asset that I can't do with a liability. And being on chain facilitates a lot of that. So that's, of all the things, and I didn't watch the hour-long video. I was trying to keep up on articles and posts and things like that. But I think that, in my opinion, is probably the thing that I'm personally most excited about in the terms of the next evolution of bringing entities, and I'd say this term, companies and then their consumers, on chain.
Yeah, I would agree. I love the conversation. I love all the hands this morning. We're going to go, let Gary respond. We'll go Oxy, then Joey. The biggest thing to me in that entire presentation that set off my spidey senses was when they started talking about Coinbase Business and payments, faster, cheaper, more global. I didn't realize, and I don't have the data or the specifics, but this is live today. They have vendors that are taking payment. I mean, this was always the vision, right? It's a better way to process payments. They're, instead of paying a 3% discard fee, as I understood them, as I heard him say, they're not paying any fees to accept payments in USDC. And then, oh, by the way, not only are they not paying fees like the credit card discount fee, which if you're not familiar, most retailers pay. If you're a large volume, you might get as low as 1.5%. Most small businesses are paying 3% or more when you add in their statement fees and all that. It's a big expense. I mean, it's at the end of if you do $100,000 a month in credit card processing, that's $3,000 a month. You're paying Visa, MasterCard, etc. For a business that does $100,000 a month, doing, let's say they operate off 20% margins, to give them a $3,000 a month raise, that's huge. I'm going to see if I can find some old P&Ls and show you what we used to pay annually in credit card discount rates. It'll make you sick. Again, I know no one cares, but probably if I add my Verizon business and my phone repair business, I'm pretty sure I probably paid over 7 figures worth of fees. Now, again, this was pre-blockchain, so it wasn't ever even a real solution, but it is a really big deal. And I hadn't thought until this conversation now that why would someone want to care about having their own white labeled, private labeled stable coin? It's making sense. So Gary, going back in here, then we'll go Oxy, Joey, Funky, and then we got to be kind of quick. We can kind of do lightning round here. I know, good conversation. We do have some guests joining us at 9, but then I think there could be some overlap as well. I'd love for all of you to hang out, and we'll continue. Whatever we don't get through in the Coinbase talk, because there's a few other announcements we haven't even hit on yet, from equity perp, prediction markets, 24/7 stock trading, them becoming a bank in their own DEX. Like a lot came out of that. But go ahead, Gary, Oxy, Joey, Funky. Gary, go ahead.
Yeah, Captain, what you were just saying, like I had a small business. We did about $2.5 million in revenue, and it cost us about 6 figures in credit card processing fees. So you save that. And then if my clients swap to that particular branded stable, especially if I'm much larger, like a Starbucks or something, now I'm earning yield, and now I can give them a discount for using my stable coin, because it's not an expense for me, it's an earnings point for me. So if I'm earning, let's just say I'm earning 3% yield, and everybody's holding my stable coin, they're not using it yet, I'm earning 3%, I can give them a 1 or 2 points off whenever they come in and use that coin for commerce. Not only do I not have to pay the credit card fees, but I can pass the savings along to the customer as well.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. You're saving, you're also then immediately earning yield on the stables you brought in. Like, I know this is probably like a lot of people are like, I can't believe these guys are getting so excited about stable coins and payments. This is real product market fit. This is real, a very real example of blockchain technology and crypto doing something significantly better than its predecessors. It's just better on chain. It is. You can't convince me otherwise. Go ahead, Oxy, and then we'll go Joey and then Funky.
Yeah, and maybe let me just clarify. I'm very bullish on stable coins, and then especially stable coins like for companies. Like I think branded stable coins is a great idea. I audit these. Like the more stable coins that are out there, the more work I get and the more revenue I can generate myself. So this is a great, this is great for me. What I'm trying to, maybe what I wasn't clear about was, I don't understand why someone would go through a Coinbase rather than a Stripe or Athena or another, any other stablecoin white label provider, considering how much that they have to pay in fees to Circle. So it's like you're like going from Coinbase and then going to Circle and then going to the end provider doesn't really make sense to me. I think there's more efficient ways for companies to generate these stable coins without losing that much in fee, like the amount in fees that they're likely going to be losing going through this service. So that's just what I'm trying to say. I think they can probably earn more yield with less fees through other providers. That's all I'm trying to maybe suggest.
I think you're probably right. I also think there is something to be said for just ease of use. And if I have everything else here, what do I really need to do that? It's gonna be really interesting, and it is. Yeah, I do. I think this is a really big deal. Joey, I don't see your hand, but if you want to get in here, go ahead with a quick one, and then we'll go to Funky.
That's odd. I guess X is wigging out again.
Yeah.
So to kind of answer Oxy's question, is part of the. So I have a friend who's been at Coinbase for over 5 years as a software engineer, and he actually worked on a bunch of these products for them. More specifically, the crypto-backed loans aspect of their announcement and what they're doing. But one of the things they also announced was Coinbase Business. So the reason why you go with Coinbase for your stable coin is because of the announcement of Coinbase Business. So Coinbase Business is an all-in-one financial platform specifically for small businesses that want to integrate and utilize crypto. So when you combine the fact that, yes, you can just use regular USDC, but then you combine the fact that you're utilizing your own branded stable coin, now you're able to build out this your whole business with Coinbase versus just going to somebody who's a stable coin provider that doesn't have all the other benefits that Coinbase Business is going to offer. Like Coinbase Business has, real quickly, it says automated financial workflows and, global payments through invoicing and all kinds of other stuff. So you have to look at the announcement as a whole to also they have Coinbase Advisor and right. There was so many parts to this announcement that kind of work off of each other as to why somebody would want to go to Coinbase for a branded stablecoin. The last thing I'll say is the reason why you would do this, because I think in the beginning somebody said, like, I don't know why you would need a branded stablecoin. I mean, the answer is simple: is if you're launching a business, like you use Starbucks as the example, why would you want people to go use USDC instead of using S-Bucks, right? You'd want to keep everything branded so it's the same. But yeah, go read the full announcement and get a better understanding of how all of the stuff ties together, and you'll see why somebody would choose Coinbase over just a stablecoin provider.
Yeah, I get it. Funky, we'll go to you next. And if anyone else has hands up, give me a wave so I can see it, because X is being finicky. And again, we could do lightning round just because we've got I don't want to keep our special guests waiting too long. My first thought when I'm seeing all this, I'm nodding, and then I started thinking, this sounds too good to be true. There's got to be some hidden fees somewhere. There's got to be some spread. Coinbase is a for-profit publicly traded company. They got to be making money on all this. And I don't see them just going straight to zero, right? They may not charge fees on processing, but they're going to make their money somewhere. And that's why I can't believe I'm this is what I'm excited to nerd out about, but I am excited by forget crypto as a retailer. Like I said yesterday, if I had to describe myself with one word, it's probably entrepreneur. If you made me choose another word, it'd be storyteller. And if I had to pick a third word, it'd be I'm a small box retailer. I'm a specializing in franchising. Like that part of my brain is getting giddy about this. Not hyperbole. I have a lot of my friends, you want to say, what's going to be the next wave to onboard people? I've said for a while, I think it's you talk about the rec success stories and bringing in more builders on chain because they can see what they can do here with the network effects and what blockchain technology unlocks. Every one of my friends that's in franchise, every one of my friends that's a retailer, I know or have a good idea of what they're paying in fees to process payments. This is, it really is a better model, and it's a hell of a mousetrap for all the reasons just mentioned. Funky, go ahead, GM, sir.
GM gang. So I'm just going to be as brief as possible. I'm going to be the policy wonk in the room. I agree with everything that everybody said. I'm very bullish on stable coins, better bit distribution, payment rails, blah, blah, blah. However, just came out back from the Blockchain Association Policy Summit. And if you guys aren't aware, the ABA, which is the American Bankers Association, biggest trade association for all the banks, are fighting tooth and nail to change the Clarity Act that was passed from the House that's being looked over in the Senate. It's basically what they want to do is make sure that no yield gets passed on to the end user. So all these dreams where people are using a stable coin as a service, or like what Oxy was talking about before, they might not necessarily get that asset that's appreciating on their balance sheet. So the number one thing, because I'm trying to be brief, that you can do during the holidays, my fellow Americans who are listening, write to your senator and tell them to use the base text from the Clarity Act that was already passed in the House. Let that be the starting point. Don't have them try and change things, because that's what they're trying to do in the Ag Committee and the Financial Banking Committee. So just write to your senator. You're slowed down during the holidays and say, use the base text of the Clarity Act that was passed with bipartisan support. 78 Democrats voted for that thing. We got to do this, because otherwise a lot of these stablecoin dreams will be killed, and it's the banks and the issuers just hogging the yield.
I'm apolitical. I'm not, you probably won't find me voting in a presidential election. I just don't care enough. This is something I'll throw some support behind. For those that aren't as well-versed in the political realm as yourself, you say contact your senator. Is it, what's the specific call to action for everyone listening? Yeah, this is important. I do want to take some action. Is it just Google your senator, send them an email? Is there any sort of form letter? Is there
Just send them an email, basically, and tell them, use the Clarity Act that's passed in the House as the base text, because what the Senate's trying to do is just create their own version. And the ABA is getting involved, and they're trying to make it very bank focused, which, to be fair, genius is. When you look at the stablecoin issuers, this is why you see a rush to banking charters, because you effectively have to be a bank to be a stablecoin issuer. So just write to your senator and effectively say, use the base text from the Clarity Act that was passed out of the House.
Yep. Down with the big banks. This is not surprised. I understand why they want to do this, but this is also, you said it. This is taking funds, taking yield directly from the end user, because the big banks are greedy and they don't want to give that up. This is, and you know what? If they weren't concerned, if they didn't see how this could play out and what Coinbase has just announced and this paradigm shift, if they didn't think it was like a real threat to them, they probably wouldn't be taking this action. Like this is a major thing that will reverberate throughout society if it goes forward, because I can speak to the US, like the backbone of the US and Main Street, it is your small, medium businesses. This is a big deal. And yeah, that's so in addition to clicking my Coinbase base ref link up top, that's your other homework today is go email your senator. I maybe have done this once or twice before on some things that I was passionate about. I've been to one congressional hearing for the right to repair. And it's like a bunch of us cell phone tech nerds and farmers that were pissed off at John Deere. Another story. I'm not going to digress. We have special guests. Joey, get in here for a quick one. And then we are going to bring on our special guest.
If you control the money, you control the person.
Yeah.
It's one of the oldest sayings. And that's why they're fighting. The banks and whatever are fighting against this. It's really that simple. People just got to wake up and realize that.
Yeah. You control the money, you're in control. And cash is king. That's the other one that still holds true to this day. I don't see any other hands.
Actually, as crazy as it's not though, dude. I went to SeaWorld and Disney this weekend. Everything is cashless.
Well,
I literally gave myself a budget in cash, and nobody would take cash.
By cash,
it's crazy.
I mean dollars, liquidity.
Well, yeah. Sorry,
not paper dollars.
It's crazy how nobody would take cash.
USDC is the new king. You know, stable coins are the new king. It doesn't hit quite as well. It doesn't have the same alliteration as cash is king. But yeah, we'll work on wordsmithing that one. That's where I need Steve to help me better properly come up with something there. I ran out of my. I exhausted all my pun quota doing the Steve captaining the treacherous storms in the open seas earlier in the call. So. We're going to move on. I'm really, truly excited. Stick around. There's some more things to hit on this Coinbase conversation. I kind of flew through some of the other bullet points, but definitely a few other items we will talk through that I do also not as big as payments and processing, but also some concern about the hyper gambling world that we are. I think that's the train's left the station and there's no going back. And I do have some concern, especially for we need more financial education in our elementary schools, our universities. Like we always should have had more, but especially now as so many of these tools, so many of these financial instruments are now available to the masses. Most people aren't educated even remotely enough to start playing in these worlds, and people are going to get wrecked. So I do think education is going to be increasingly important. Financial education. I mean, not going to go off on an educational rant, but it's been a miss, and I hope we see more of it in helping our kids in the younger generation get educated on this stuff. That said, I'm going to tie it out again like a concert professional. You know what kids don't need to necessarily be over educated on? It just makes sense. Is really cute stuffed animals and IP. One of my favorite ones. I kid you not, I'm moving out of the Airbnb today. I promise you guys, anyone, you go look at all the videos I've had my stuffed Clayno right here for like since I got it. I just packed it up though, because it's going to be moved with me for sure. So that said, please join. If you haven't yet, give us a like, a repost on the space. Let's get this thing warmed up. We've got Andrew and Blake joining us from Clayno's team. Really excited to hear what's new there. Talk about moving and shaking and aligning with your users. I've been on a little, week-long rant about most NFT PFP brands getting away from what made the NFT space great as a active participant, and most aren't even attempting to be aligned with their users. They've flipped their ambassadors, their raving fans, their what used to feel like stakeholders into mere customers that pay a premium for most of their products and goods. The one I always disclaimer that's not in that group is Clayno's, because you guys are just moving differently than most in the space. So Andrew, Blake, GM, always a pleasure. Welcome to Coffee. Anything before we jump into all things Clayno's? Anything on this morning's conversation, whether it's Coinbase announcement, stablecoins, anything you want to get out?
Well, good morning. Thanks for having us. Yeah, we were just shooting the breeze while you guys were talking about that. I think it's the Coinbase announcement is really, I think it's great, honestly, in terms of the opening up all these different avenues towards sort of like more retail facing and friendlier environments for people. Even when we talk about Clayno and like what we want to do in terms of aligning interests, and in our case, you know, like tokenizing our equity stack and distributing that to the fans that have been so you know, valuable to us. And then even as we build out our studio in HEEBOO, all of these things are super important. So we looked at that yesterday. We're like, oh man, this is great, because, you know, the hurdles and the things where we add value aren't going to be necessarily regulatory change and regime change and, you know, DeFi tech. And finding great partners who are, you know, at the forefront of that to lever that into what we're trying to do is super, super powerful. So I think it's a good step forward, and I think it helps us in that regard. And like you're saying, you know, every NFT collection has kind of waned or tried old tricks and they don't work anymore. And, you know, I think the future is going this direction, even for NFTs and for fans and for communities at large. And then the point on, I mean, my background is all banking and finance. So the point on like, how do they make money? And yeah, it's yield, guys. That's how a bank runs, right? The banks, they don't make money off of fees. It's net interest margin. And that's like just, they take a yield on your money. So the more that they keep, the more they'll ingrain themselves in that way for whatever that's worth.
So to that, if I could ask, as it relates to payments, let's say small business, they're taking payments, they get that payment in a stable coin. There's no fees on that. And then the business is starting immediately earning yield on that stable coin they brought in. Are you saying it's still like the business model still supports Coinbase not taking fees on the payments, still paying yield to the business, but yet there's enough margin in the yield that they're going to earn on top of that to make it work?
Right. So if you're doing payments, then you're probably predominantly talking about like credit cards and things like that. A credit card, is, you know, that's a, you know, there's a big fee on that. Let's say 3% depending on the retailer. If you're Amex is like more expensive, I think. Those fees will obviously collapse, right? Because those companies are facilitating, like Amex, MasterCard. Those guys aren't holding capital; they're just conduiting and moving data around. So those fees will obviously come down to a very, very low level, which is great. It's great for everybody. Not great for MasterCard and Amex, but I'm sure, you know, they're probably thinking about using these kinds of rails so that they can remain competitive. And, you know, we see partnerships like that all the time. So payments is one thing, right? But then holding, like what a bank does is it's holding capital, it's holding deposits. Or if you're a merchant bank, maybe you don't have a retail facing arm, but you're still holding capital. And sure, you'll see like that. You go to an ATM, you go see a bank teller, you send a wire, they, you know, they'll tack fees onto that. And those are like, you know, de minimis micro fees at that level. And then, but that's not, when you look at like the financial statements for a bank, that's not where they're making their money. They're making their money off of their tremendous deposits and then having that be invested and taking a yield. And so that's where the bank makes the money, right? So if you're a Coinbase and you're able to offer all of these different things, whether it's stable coins, and now you hold more US dollars. Or
you all can hear me, right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
One sec.
You guys don't hear me? I can see that it looks like it's working on my side.
We're good. I have no idea what happened, but we lost you for a second, but we are, maybe the unplug, plugging it back in worked. Sorry about that.
No problem. As long as, I'm not going to belabor it anyway, but basically the bank holds a shit ton of money, they invest it, and then they, that's where their money comes from, net interest margin. So like, the payments rails are a completely sort of different prospect, and the little micro fees you see at ATMs and things like that are not the profit center for a bank. It's really the net interest margin on your deposits. So therefore, like Coinbase, the more you can hold as a consequence of issuing stable coins or, you know, supporting tokenized equities and things like that, the more money you have, like that, you're just passing like, you know, the risk from one person to another. But if you're holding deposits, you can invest and make money. That's how sort of even like a, you know, Circle or Tether makes money, right?
Yeah. Well, appreciate you commenting on that, sharing from a you know, background of expertise. And again, this is exciting. This is like really talk about moving the space forward. And this seems like we really have made some tremendous leaps in 2025 in terms of the infrastructure in the rails to push all this stuff forward. Speaking of, what's Claynosaurz pushing forward? I think we might have a partnership, a collaboration, maybe a drop here coming soon.
Yeah, I think Claynosaurz is continuing to push on a number of fronts, and but I think we got something coming up for our other brand, Nobody Sausage, this week. I'll let Blake run on that one though, because he's the man.
Yeah, on the Claynosaurz side, we just rolled out our mobile game that we're making with Gameloft into the Philippines. So it's more of a test market. So it's a soft launch that we're doing there. That started yesterday, but it's super exciting because it's just the start of everything to come in how Claynosaurz jumps into mainstream gaming on the mobile front. After that, we'll do more of another phase 2 soft launch in Australia in a couple months, we're thinking. And that's really about testing the stickiness and the retention and the gameplay and the balancing and the marketing. So we're taking a really slow approach to rolling out this mobile game, but that's probably the biggest and most present news on the Claynosaurz side right now.
Can I ask? I'm curious. How do you choose Philippines as test market 1 and then Australia? Is it your user base? Is it mobile gaming?
It's actually just for gaming on the traditional gaming front. So Philippines has an amazing, I guess, just community of gamers as a country. They're just very, very involved. And it's cheap to test there. You get a lot of good feedback. You can get a lot of good users or a lot of users to do that. And then Australia it's a tier 1 country, but ad spends and things like that is much cheaper to do than in the US. So when you do US and you're looking at user acquisition costs, it's very high in the US, but a lot less in Australia and even the EU. And so it's a great opportunity for you when you're building out products like these to see, again, what's working, what's not working in terms of marketing and balancing and everything like that. So it's why we took a phased approach before doing our global launch to just ensure the success of this game on a global scale.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, congrats on the launch. And I know not to put you on the spot, but any range or guesstimate when it might make it to the US?
Global launch is probably going to be about 3 months after we do Australia. So we want to move pretty quickly. You don't want to wait too long into that because we're testing, everything from even like payment systems and things like that. And we'll be introducing other things. But once that happens, we go right into global launch. It's going to be following it right off the bat. So it could be 2 months, could be 3 months after Australia. It really depends on if we have the data that we need. And if we get great data and it pops off first month, then we'll just turn the dial on and launch global right away. So it'll be quick.
Awesome. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned another brand, and last time we had you on here, I think was the HEEBOO announcement. I think it was actually day of launch. For those that might have missed that show or haven't caught wind of it yet, do you want to do a quick, high level, what is HEEBOO and why should everyone care?
Yeah, sure. So it's actually kind of relevant to this Coinbase thing too. But so basically HEEBOO, it's basically a platform for unearthing, the greatest IP that is not making it to the market right now. So right now, like you guys see, Netflix is buying Warner Brothers, and there's all this sort of rhetoric around, but are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? And, the byproduct of all these big consolidations is that you don't get original IP, like you don't get new brands or franchises. And you can sort of feel it and see it. Like you don't, even as a consumer, like when was the last time a big franchise emerged, like a la Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or these big sort of like mega Pokemon, these great franchises that we all love. But in the meantime, we see deteriorated by like overly like sort of pushing that content far too much, far too often, and with like far more lackadaisicalness. So HEEBOO basically unearths properties. We bring creators and fans together. It's a fan first and a creator first platform. And it's basically, crowdfunding with fans and creators, but also rewarding fans for the things that they bring to those brands, recognizing that without a fan, you don't have the marketing engine or the inertia one would need to go and survive inside of the content slop world that exists today. And aside from that, even from a capital and DeFi perspective, it's not just crowdfunding. It's capital that is managed and risk allocated according to the market and the actual performance of the underlying properties. So you're not just passing the risk that Netflix doesn't want to take to a bunch of fans. You're actually managing that in such a way based on more fan engagement equals more dollars for the project and so on and so forth. And that flywheel pushes resources and money towards the towards the franchises that are going to be the most successful. And then for the stuff that people are always so keen on, what does that mean for tokens and stuff like that? I mean, all of these will have underlying sort of tokenized equity, which we're working on. Why it's so great to hear what Coinbase is doing and regulatory moving that direction. And we continue to work on these things ourselves, but always great to find amazing partners who are ahead of the curve and talk with those folks or work with those folks. And so all of these will be tokenized equity, and that will be on the platform. And then HEEBOO itself will have its own token, which I think you had the article open that I posted earlier this week or last week rather, which is the HEEBOO token is this preferred access token. So imagine how the IPO market works today. JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley does a big IPO. Who gets the first price before it goes up 15-20% on launch? It's their clients that the big other people they owe favors to, hedge funds and wealthy folks. This actually says, well, we're going to be IPOing all these great entertainment properties, but the people who should be getting access are the ones who are the most engaged and the ones who've added the most fan value and the ones who we know should be there. And so the HEEBOO token is, amongst many other things that we can attach to that, principally will be that preferred access pass and into the HEEBOO ecosystem, and what will eventually be this fundraising fan platform that unearths all these great original properties that the market isn't seeing anymore.
Yeah, I'm curious. This week I saw the PFT. Is that right? The Barstool. Actually, I think it was a couple Barstool.
Oh, Barstool.
Yeah, that went to Netflix, and I didn't think much of it. I was like, oh, it makes sense. And then I saw almost like some vitriol from their fans, their audience, like really upset that they were calling them sellouts and can't believe you do this. And I wasn't expecting that. I'm just curious, like your high level thoughts on that, and then how.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think honestly, they're just like, if you're Netflix, you're like, well, look, I've captured this premium streaming audience, and obviously I'm trying to capture more of it through the purchase of Warner Brothers, who's got a ton of great brands underneath it. You want to just capture as much market as you can. Obviously, we're basically on a podcast. Like, podcasts are huge. I mean, and people love podcasts. I think I'm not sure what the actual stats are on how many people watch podcast video versus like listening. I know but
most of it's, or not most of it, a lot of it is on YouTube. I mean, YouTube is the largest streaming platform, so it's
even for podcasts.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So I think that's it, and it's like Netflix wants to capture that market if they can. And you do have talk shows on Netflix, like the one with David Letterman, I think. Yeah. And so that's which is that's a conversation, and it's not too different from a podcast, right? So they're just trying to capture market share across everything. So if someone's on video, they'll try and eat it up, and I think that's that's them testing it out with Barstool. They also announced yesterday this I think a video game thing for FIFA.
That was you. Oh yeah, FIFA.
Yeah. It was. I mean, my feed is always Netflix. It's like all kinds of stuff. But yeah, they're trying to capture these different arenas, right? And they even did Netflix gaming, right? Like some stuff like that.
They did Netflix gaming. Now YouTube has just announced Playables, which is YouTube gaming, and being able to run and play games direct from your browser. So again, everybody's trying to capture the same, expand their market, presence in whatever they can, and they're all competing against each other. And the reality is YouTube is so far ahead of everyone that they need podcasts or whatever they can, whatever content they can pull in.
They're I mean, safe to say it's kind of like these shows, their podcasts, their live streams. Would it be fair to say it's almost like, obviously that's their core business, but also top of funnel for gaming and these other divisions, right?
Are we talking about YouTube here, or?
I guess both YouTube and Netflix. And I'd be remiss if I didn't, if we're talking about YouTube gaming and Netflix gaming. I see our guy William out there with Amazon and in here every day. Big fan of him and supports us. Like these e-commerce giants, these streaming giants leaning into gaming. Is your thoughts like they're doing that just because others are doing it and they need to capture a piece of that, or is that potentially
for YouTube specifically? I think they're just trying to keep people on their platform, because we all know that when kids are not playing games on their iPad, they go right to the channel to watch people play games. So if they can contain that audience from play to watch on the same thing, then they've they've out succeeded everybody. So I think it's a very good move for us. And honestly, we're talking about putting our game that we're developing with Gameloft as a playable. It would only make sense. I mean, it's a relatively new development for us, but 100% if we can get the game, which will be on the App Store and the Google Play Store, to also show up on this YouTube Playables site, it's a no-brainer for us. So we're going to be entertaining those ideas as well.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
That said, without further ado, what is
you talked HEEBOO? yeah. So with the HEEBOO announcement, we also announced the partnership with Nobody Sausage. And for those of you who don't know, Nobody Sausage they started in 2020, been about 5 years old on Instagram and TikTok. It is the largest character brand on social media, 35 million followers, billions of views over the last 5 years. It's just a massive, massive, massive IP. And, we were brought in, we were introduced with the creator Kyle. He's a single solo artist, extremely talented, and the success that he's built on his own is just you just can't even compare it. Nobody's done it that way as a one-man band type of thing. So we partnered with him on a collab originally, and then we just got to talking and said, how can we help make this brand more culturally relevant in other areas. He was interested in Web3. So a fun story about that. Met with Nick, our founder, and so we kind of introduced him to some people to help his Web3 presence. But at the end of the day, we're really just here to support him on all fronts. That is mainstream media and branding and everything else that I just discussed. So one of our first things that we're doing is we're rolling out a plush blind box today. It is going live today, and we're doing this in a very interesting way. We're partnering with 223 on the production side of things, and they're helping us not only develop this high quality plush blind box keychain that we're rolling out, but they're building our our Shopify site, and then we're also partnering with Collector Crypt on the same way. So we're building out two experiences that tie together, but it really is a Web 2 and Web 3 push. So we will be promoting it onto the social channels, running ads to that audience, and creating this experience that feels very friendly to them, while also tying in, digital experiences via NFC chip technology. And I don't want to go into too much of the spoilers around like what each box will, contain, because we do have some other announcements this weekend. But it is the first time that he's done a physical line, really kind of marketed to his audience that also has some digital technology built in as well. So really, really fun, exciting stuff for us. I'm sure I'm missing something, but that's it on the surface level.
I guess rewinding just a little bit. Do you guys have any I know there's a lot. There's no one single answer. There's probably no silver bullet. It was probably just consistently grinding and growing. But if you had to guess or describe how Nobody Sausage had so much success growing their socials, growing this IP, what would you attribute it to?
I think honestly, the speed at which he can execute in the meme culture has been very, very rewarding for him. And an example of that would be when I think it was Serena Williams at the Super Bowl one day did a sea walk, and that became she did the crypt walk during the halftime show, and that became this internet phenomenon. He saw that moment, made a video that night, spent 7 hours just grinding on it, and was the first one to have a Nobody Sausage type meme video go out the next morning. And of course it exploded. So he's very, very smart about what is trending on social and how he can inject his brand into these moments. And that the other thing too is he's just extremely creative and talented in knowing what hits and what's funny. So, he gets a lot of his influence from SpongeBob SquarePants, and he's just really trying to bring joy to people's life and have create these moments that are really shareable. And it's just been very rewarding for him. It's a very impressive. we congratulate him every time we talk.
It is really impressive, and I know it's not easy. The thing that I saw one of the comments like, "Oh, another blind box."
Yeah.
This looks very different than every other blind box we've seen. No offense to PERPs or Nuco or Vlog, like all different in their own right.
Yeah.
My perspective, my opinion is all those, everyone we've seen so far has been crypto-centric to a crypto native audience. While here we're talking about this on crypto Twitter, they're going to be posts on X. This seems like it's flipping the script. Like this is the Instagram, as you mentioned, 7.5 million followers, blind box, limited edition. And while we know there's going to be some sort of tech tie in there, there's going to be something beyond just the collectible. I don't see any mentions of crypto. I don't see any mentions of even blind box.
Exactly. And you know, a lot of these experiences come when you actually receive the box yourself. And I think that's going to be very important for his audience, is that you don't need to know anything. It's why we built out a separate site that will be listing on that. But you're right. I mean, there has been a trend and we're aware of that. But, you know, Nick, Cap, and we spent a lot of time this year. We went to Korea, we went to Japan. We've been interested in doing a major research on the Claynosaurz side of things in collectibles and physical collectibles. You know, it's been a high priority for us this year. And so when we go to places like, you know, to do the research, we're looking at it with also the back of our mind, keeping Nobody Sausage in mind of like, what would hit for that audience? What would be very important? So we know his demographics, and we have been working on this for a while to make sure that it does land with who we think it is. So yes, it's a different push. It is going to be a much wider push to make sure that we do capture that, the Web2 community that he has, and make sure that the experience is seamless for him.
And to be important, I think it's also, we know that Web3 and the tools here like really form community in the right place. And even though Nobody Sausage has 35 million followers, the question, unlike these other brands, even Clayno for that matter, is not how do you go from where we are today into Web2 or into this wider audience. For us, it's how do you take that wider sort of fragmented audience and bring them together with the Web3 stuff we've got, with the meme token that is Nobody Sausage. And so in this regard, yeah, we got a way wider net to work with. And we've been saying for Nobody Sausage since we onboarded them into HEEBOO, it's literally the opposite. We want to put these physical things out, these kinds of collectibles that people are familiar with in the real world. And then we've got digital integrations inside of there. I think there's NFC chips inside of these plushies, and it's all seamless and abstracted away, but brings you right back into these, you know, Web3 arenas and Web3 places, so that we can take those 33 million followers and bring them back this direction. So it's a wider net and funnel. That's our top funnel to bring them back here versus the other way around. And I think that's really important because, especially for, you know, the crypto Twitter audience, like it's we know all the benefits, just a matter of bringing them in a very sort of seamless and friendly way, which we're pretty good at, I think. So
yeah, I love it. Again, I'm not just glazing because you're on the show. Really appreciate what you're doing. Like this is, no one's coming to buy our NFTs. It's just not happening. There's no net new buyers right now. No one's onboarding to come buy our expensive digital JPEGs. They're just not. People are collecting things. People they want to find new IP like this. And I'm bummed because I don't know what I was thinking. Not only did I take down my stuff Clayno, I boxed it up, put it right back to the original bag to make sure it stays in good condition. I wish I hadn't put it in the car right now, because even that experience, that unboxing experience, the quality, it's really well done. There is something more there, but it's not in your face. It doesn't scream, this is some nerdy NFT, some blockchain technology that I don't need, you know, I got to learn some new language to figure out. It's just really well done from a end user unboxing, the end user experience, the quality's there. And I absolutely can see how this thing plays out, where there's, like you said, 30+ million Nobody Sausage fans. A portion of them are going to buy this blind box, and inevitably some of those are going to get their first digital collectible. They're going to get their first on-chain experience. Like, this is how we bring, I think, the rest of the world into this space. That's not from the business standpoint with things like stablecoins. For the end consumer in this IP, like, again, thank you for pushing the space forward, doing new things, and not just something that worked in 21 or 22. So I genuinely mean that. I'm not blowing smoke or just glazing you guys because you're here. It's like this, we need more of this. And it's not just more alignment with our holders and driving value back to your NFT holders, but doing things differently to get outside of our bubble, but yet also keeping
the technology intact. Like, right? Yeah. It's the same thing that it's the same thing that we're doing with the mobile game. Honestly, it's why we partnered with a Web2 mobile game company and to release it on the Apple Store. But the assets that you craft in that game are digital assets. You are creating a wallet when you sign up for an account with your email address. No one's going to know, but yeah, it's exactly that.
And it seems so obvious to have this conversation. But yeah, I feel like I'm taking crazy pills or beating my head against the wall because I see, I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to single anyone out, but I see crypto native NFT PFP brands launching collectibles or merch, and there is zero tie-in to blockchain tech. Like not even so much as like a gated drop. It's just, we're just going to sell, we're going to go backwards. It's like, what are we doing? Like there's fun, cool stuff. Like the power of an NFT, if it's composable technology, you can build upon it. There's so much more we can do. And I felt for the last few months that it feels like so many of your peers, your counterparts, aren't even making an attempt, aren't even making an effort. So is this going to be the greatest blind box sale of all time? I don't know. But I don't really, I mean, I hope you guys have massive success with it. Regardless of the outcome, I really, truly appreciate the strategy and the execution going into this. I know it takes a lot of work. I know it is doing things a little differently, but it gets me excited. It's refreshing. It gets me excited about the NFT PFP world again, because there are some, and you guys are at the top of a short list right now in terms of really connecting both parts, the normie world with us blockchain nerds, and yet obfuscating all the tech and stuff that the normies don't care about. They don't want to know. In fact, if this said, oh, you get buy this box and you can claim a free, NFT or a free digital collectible, that's probably going to turn off some of those 30+ million followers and give them a reason not to buy it. So
it's not a bullet point. It's not a bullet point. It's not a feature point. It never was. It didn't work in gaming, Web3 gaming. It's not going to work in collectibles. You have to create experience that are familiar to them, and that's it. And if they choose to follow the path of the crypto, then so be it. But you're exactly right.
And you know what? They don't all need to follow the path. For some of them, it's just going to get them get them the cool thing. Not every one of them needs to jump in the crypto blockchain rabbit hole like I did when I found Top Shot. Like some might, some probably will, but they don't have to. Like I think we're kind of like, I say we, like oftentimes I think people, we make it too complicated. We're over engineering things. It's like, just ship cool stuff and use the technology to make the cool stuff better. I think I'll, not to talk about a counterpart or a peer, but it was, I think, Luca, where I first heard, he's like, I want our $20 toy to have more and be better than the $20 toy sitting next to it on the Walmart shelf. And like, that's what I'm seeing here. When I say like, this is yes, it's the blind box. Have we seen some other blind boxes? Yes, we have. The approach that I'm seeing here is very different from the other crypto natives. Not saying they did it wrong. This gets me excited.
To add also, and I didn't even cover this, but we are creating this digital experience, but we are planning on bringing these blind boxes to retail on shelves as well, that also have that experience. So it's not a bullet point to overlook, and nothing is 100% set in stone quite yet. However, that is the plan, and that is another outlier for this drop specifically too.
I love it. So specifics, you mentioned Collector Crypt. This goes live today, is that right?
Yep.
What time and where? For those that want to go buy one of these, do we know details on like price, where to go buy it? What specific call to actions for those that are excited like I am today? What do we need to know, and how do we get our hands on one of these blind boxes?
Yeah, for this audience, probably Collector Crypt is going to be the place that you want to go. Like I said, we are developing a separate Web2 friendly Shopify. They look very similar. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
But you can use crypto payments on the Collector Crypt site. So that is going live. We are shooting for between 10 and 11 a.m. So I probably need to hop off and check my phone and see where we're at with that that announcement and everything that's going. But yeah, so it's coming up. It's coming up soon, and then you'll see the rest of the announcements throughout the weekend. But the drop is going to be live, I think, until Monday. So it is a short time for the digital space. It is not something that's always going to be always on. So we'll end that on Monday. So from today through the weekend, like I said, there will be for sure digital tie-ins to this drop. And price points is very competitive at every single price point. Again, like at the end of the day, we are looking at retail plays here. So I think we landed on a $28 a single pack. Keep in mind, these are blind box plush keychains. So they are like a little bit taller, bag hangs that you get. And there will be a chaser item.
Hold on, audio cut out again. I think it's just spaces, so video can all still hear you.
Great.
But for whatever reason, we're having some X issues today. I just got to what it worked last time, so I'm just going to unplug and plug back in. So give me like 30, not even 30 seconds.
Do your thing.
All right, check.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah, so standard prices, you can buy a 6-pack. If you do buy like the full pack, then you will you're guaranteed to get that chaser one, which does have, with that NFC chip, has a very cool limited edition feature that comes with it, the rare. That's how we're doing it. And then we're also going to be tying in Zeet campaign too. So everybody who buys boxes will earn Zeets. Zeet rewards to this, and there will be a multiplier weekend for the people who purchase as well. So we're stacking everything into this one. Again, it's a Web 3 launch as much as it is a Web 2 launch, hitting all angles.
And earlier I mentioned alignment with your holder base, alignment with your earliest supporters. The other thing that I would be remiss if I didn't at least comment on and give you some more flowers is, while you've built something very Web 2 friendly, you've built something that should resonate with that social following for Nobody Sausage that has no blockchain experience. At the same time, you've tapped and are working with partners here. Like you're from Zeet to Collector Crypt, and really keeping things like, I really appreciate the approach. And I don't know, maybe no one cares about this. I care. Like, I think this is how we grow together. This is, the PvP stuff is just, it's idiotic at this point. Like, we are such a small corner of the internet. We're such a small niche group of people that the reality is we all have a far more in common than we don't. And I think this is the sort of stuff that not only how you're going to market, but who you're going to market with. Like, this is, I hope other founders, other teams are listening. And I hope that this is the kind of stuff I'd like to see other teams copy pasting with their own spin, their own twist, but taking something to a Web 2 audience in a very normal, friendly way, while also leveraging the technology, working with the other crypto native brands. It's just everything that I've heard today. It is refreshing. And one thing you said there in past, I want to circle back to just to make sure I caught it right. There's 6 different variations. And if you have the option to buy like a single pack or a 6-pack,
or a 12-pack.
If you buy the pack, you're guaranteed to get it all.
If you buy the 12-pack, you're guaranteed to get the rare. Yeah, the rare. Yeah,
got it.
Which again comes with a unique claim to it.
Okay, very cool. Will we be buying, I assume, like the Shopify site you mentioned, that can just pay with credit card and cash?
Both of them will have that option. Yeah, both sites will have that option. Collector Crypt, again, I think it's the best experience for this audience. And again, we just wanted to make sure that when we do go out to his holder base on Instagram and TikTok, that this is, by the way, looking at data, it's why we chose a plush blind box bag hang. He's 70% women 18 to 25 on Instagram and TikTok. So the product itself is definitely geared for that audience to purchase. And we just want to make sure that is a clean, good experience for them.
70% women. Did I catch that right?
You got it.
So exact same demographic as crypto.
I thought you were going to say Clayno, because it is on Instagram. But yes, yeah. I mean, that's the hardest part about being in this space, right? Especially on the Clayno side thing, is we have Instagram, we have crypto, and then we also are building a family product for kids. The Game Loft game is for 6 to 12-year-olds. The show is for 6 to 12-year-olds. So, you know, we don't see it as a problem. I think we're in the state of this world where you can easily sell products that might be normally geared towards kids to adults. It's been proven. And so, yeah, it is multi-generational when we look at the marketing and tying everything together.
I love it. I love the Z tournament. Go check that out if you're not yet over there. I just realized that the Z account is not following me back. I might have to have a word or two with Pawns afterwards.
We'll send them a line.
We've kept you guys longer than I anticipated. Really appreciate your patience getting started, as we had an interactive conversation going on there with a lot of hands wanting to get in. Is there anything we haven't asked you yet? Is there anything that you haven't shared, whether it's regarding this Nobody Sausage blind box, whether it's regarding HEEBOO, Claynos, anything that you wanted to share before we let you get out of here and head to your big drop?
Well, we did the mobile game. We did the blind box for Nobody Sausage. There's cool the digital integration will be announced on the weekend. We have another announcement behind for Nobody Sausage that's pretty cool as well. Totally different thing, but very, very interesting, especially for Web3. And then we're in the new year after that, I think. Anything before the end of the year?
No, then we're pushing HEEBOO. We're going to be speaking at another event, a lot of events this year. I mean, you know, we've really started to infiltrate Web2 entertainment events. It's been a big push for us. So you'll probably see Cab speaking in other places. But yeah, I mean, that's our goal. We're spreading the word of digital first IPs to mainstream. Popkins achievements, yeah, for the SUI folk and the Popkins holders. We are building out our achievement system, so there's going to be updates there. But yeah, it's lots of fun stuff. Continuing to build.
You absolutely are. You're building in a very impressive way. You know, I didn't even think about mentioning. I do. I see Cab. It feels like every other week he's at some major event, conference, non-crypto. And again, how you all are navigating the two worlds. It's a master's class. Again, not glazing. I know it probably comes across that way. It's just like, please, everyone else, pay attention. I know it's challenging. I know it's a lot of work. But this is the playbook. Like I'm convinced, like how you're navigating. Everyone's got their own different things, but we're not going to bring people into this space by just going to crypto conferences and just talking about the technology. It's just not going to work. Like it's a turnoff to most people. How you're doing it, it just makes a ton of sense. And yeah, you got a lot of fans in the chat, from Abstract to YouTube to our DJ Network War Room, our Discord. If I had to guess, like I think Claynos are probably the leading PFP from Zane to Doomers. And we've seen a lot of, NFT OGs that have been around for a while. Claynos is becoming their home base. They're collecting their whole pods. Like you guys are doing a lot of things, and you deserve more attention on the timeline. I'm grateful for your time today. I'm happy to help amplify anything we can. So don't be strangers. Andrew, shout out to Andrew in the chat there. And I know you got to get out of here. Do you have time for a question or two?
Yeah, we can do a question. Yeah.
Go ahead. Who's big crypto? Question for the gang.
Yo, shout out. Not a question. Just wanted to say, man, I've always been a big fan of Claynos. I don't rock it as a PFP, but I'll rock it on every other social media platform, like my Instagram and everything, just to help bring the Web 2 eyes. And I've always been a huge fan because you guys were always aiming towards the Web 2. You've never been caught up in this Web 3 PvP stuff. And like you said, I think you guys definitely have one of the best communities in Web 3, period. And think about it, bro. In this type of NFTs and what everything going, bro, you guys almost have 70% of the community staking. Like, imagine any other project trying to get that. 70% of the community has their Claynos stake and be sold for over a year, 6 months, or whatever, however long term they put it up for. But yeah, Claynos on top. I love it. Keep building, keep growing. Love you.
Thank you. That's so great to hear. We appreciate those words.
Yeah, a lot of big fans, and well-deserved. This isn't exciting. I can sound like I'm glazing because I got you on the show, but I genuinely mean it. I hear more like the sentiment towards Claynos and HEEBOO and all that you're building is, I don't want to say unanimously. I'm sure you have your challenges. I'm sure it's impossible to make everyone happy, but almost every other NFT, PFP brand or crypto, that's the world they came from. I would say it's probably more than 50% are frustrated or sharing, constructive feedback or concerns or straight up complaints. I don't remember last time I heard anyone being upset or even critiquing anything y'all are doing. And that's very rare in not only in the on-chain world, but especially in Q4 of 2025. So keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, hope others are paying attention as well. I did see we had the Nobody Sausage account jump on stage. I'm not sure if they want to get any words in, but I would just say if you're not following the account, go get that a follow. Let's make it 36 million before the end of the day. And yeah, again, best of luck.
And buy some blind boxes. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be buying maybe a 12-pack. I'm curious to see what else comes with this. I will buy because I want to buy. I'm gonna have at least one. We'll throw it in the background, but I'm not saying this to please buy what you can afford to buy. Don't buy with any other expectations than getting a cool plushie or a cool keychain.
100%.
And this gets me excited to do a little speculating on. I don't know. Maybe there's something more here, and if not, I'm happy to support a team that I really respect how and what you guys are building. So, really appreciate your time today. I know you've got some time constraints this morning. A lot you got to get done. So, any final words before we let you get out of here?
No, blind boxes. That's coming up in what, 9 minutes?
Yeah, we'll see.
If he's on schedule, we'll see.
I'll check my phone after this. But thank you so much for having us on.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate it. And anytime. Love the conversations always. And again, it is refreshing is the word that keeps coming back to mind. You give me hope. So thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it. Again, for our listeners, if you're not following Nobody Sausage account, go get that a follow. It's up on the Spaces stage. Andrew's account's also up there. And if you click through Andrew's account, you can also see the HEEBOO official and the Claynosaurz account. And we'll let these guys get out of here. We will, if anyone in the chat wants to continue the conversation on Claynosaurz, Nobody Sausage, feel free to jump up. We can get those, or if anyone wanted to circle back to any of the other topics of the day, whether it be Coinbase or otherwise. We've got a few minutes left here, but we'll let these guys get out of here and get onto their exciting day, and we'll chat with them soon. That said, I'm pumped. I genuinely mean it. It is how more should be moving. Von Frunton, don't expect anything. I'm buying, not because I expect anything. It's fun to have hope. It's fun to speculate on teams that are doing things the right way. And my expectations are nothing other than a blind box. But I also hey, if there's a chance to pull a rare, if there's some other goodies there, it's tugging on my heartstrings when they're doing all the other stuff the right way. So it is really exciting. And we are fortunate. We get to talk to a lot of, great leaders, great teams, those pushing the space forward. And I think this is certainly one of those teams that is pushing the space forward. Will HEEBOO become the next Netflix? Who knows? That's an crazy, hairy, audacious goal. Will they make an impact? Will they bring more people into this space? Will they help push it forward? To which I say, absolutely, they are. We're seeing it happen now. This is, your homework today is go click my base app ref link up top. Go follow Nobody Sausage and get ready for this blind box. No obligation to buy, but if you're into that sort of stuff, this is a good one to support from my perspective. And keep an eye on this team, what they're building. They're absolutely moving differently than most, and they deserve more credit and attention than they're getting in the crypto Twitter world. That said, we've got a few minutes left here. Oxy, Rex, who's big, Machiavelli. I'm not sure hands are working. X has been a little finicky this morning without fail. We have an interview I'm excited about, and it just randomly cuts out audio for no apparent reason. But any other any thoughts, questions? Anyone want to? A couple items I don't think we mentioned on the Coinbase side, but I'll just kind of fly over there if there's anyone that wants to get in or has a specific comment, thought, or wants to discuss the 24/7 stock trading. It's a pretty big deal. Equity perps, somewhat concerning, but pretty big deal. Prediction markets, that's a partnership with Kalshi. Token sales, they mentioned that. Their Monad was just the first one. And the stat, I know, I forget price action, token price, valuation, all that. But the distribution, I think it was like 85,000 wallets across 70 countries, something wild. And how they filled from the bottom up. I do like that. I think that's probably the most fair and equitable ICO as far as the general public has been concerned in a while. I think Von Front mentioned Coinbase, or Joey mentioned Coinbase Advisor. Basically, it's an AI-powered assistant to help you with your strategies and whatnot. Crypto-backed loans, also a big deal. Be able to pull out equity from your Bitcoin or Ethereum right on one platform. Like, and the thing that excited me most was the Coinbase business. The payments, faster, cheaper, more global, custom stables, all plays in together. It's just in a time where it's like Bitcoin is still, I don't know, I'm going to check now because maybe it's back up over 90K. Yeah, it's running up again today, $88,000. So it's like ETH at 3K. Like, we are so far from being dead. It's not going to zero. It's just been very confusing price action. It's extremely volatile. And I think as a result, outside of Bitcoin and even ETH still doing okay. I mean, Solana is at, I don't even have it in my there wasn't that long ago I said I was going to go, Solana was going to be my big buy in Q4, and I not so much. 125, it's up 1% on the day. It did run up a little bit, pulled back here just in the last hour, but yeah, in a time where price action's confusing, NFC sentiment is all-time low, there's a lot to be excited about. This Coinbase stuff's a big deal. How the HEEBOO team is moving, like, this is how we do it. This is how we get through this downturn. This is also why I said yesterday, like, the way to lose in crypto, other than just going 50x levered long and short positions and getting wiped out in this volatility, the way to assure yourself of not winning is leave, is exit the space, is stop paying attention. There will be another meta. There will be another cycle. There will be another season. There will be other opportunities to generate incredible returns here that it's hard to see in other industries, other verticals. Like, I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be, but I know that your potential to catch it is much greater if you're here, if you're paying attention, if you're supporting these teams that, like the ones we talked with today, that are moving differently, that are really working to push the space forward, really working to onboard others into the space. Like, the Clayno holders, their supporters, they're not, I don't think they're getting these blind boxes for free. They're going to buy them. That's fine. Like, I don't feel like a customer because they're not just selling me a plushie with nothing else. And I would say, no offense, but I do mean, like, stop doing that. If you're a crypto native brand and you're selling a toy, a plushie, a blind box, some merch, and you're not attempting to distribute it outside of crypto Twitter, and there's no tie-in with the tech, what are you doing? I don't need any more hoodies. I'm not buying any plushie that's just a toy, unless it's a dog toy. Let's go.
Make sure to claim too.
Yes.
When you got your plushie, I see you got your plushie. Make sure to check the
yes,
the little code. Yep.
Thanks for saying that, because I mentioned the unboxing experience was great. I don't even know if I hit on that. Like, it's just easy. It works. It's how it should be done. If you're a crypto native company, whether you're an NFT, PFP native brand or something completely different, if you're selling a physical product, what are you doing if you're not connected? What are you doing if it doesn't have to be an RWA, but there should be some sort of digital claim. Like, make an attempt, make some effort. You know, we talked about Complex Con, and I think ApeChain, Bored Ape Yacht Club did a great job there, because they helped tens of thousands of people get new crypto wallets, and none of them even know about, or very few of them even realize it yet, because they obfuscated the tech. They just made it a simple user experience. That it doesn't always have to be. You don't always have to bring them in or share all the data. Get them started. Take at least the first step. Make an attempt. Make an effort. And this team is certainly doing that. Let's go Rex first, and then Oxy. I am going to go quickly step away. I'll be here. I'll be able to hear you guys. I'm just going to mute my video. I'll be right back. But Rex, go ahead, take it wherever you'd like, and then Oxy, once Rex done, take the mic.
All right, thanks, Cap. I just wanted to kind of reiterate that from my perspective, at least, it's really refreshing to see Web3 companies that are actually building in a time when we are at like all-time lows. To me, that's like we talk about this is a time to buy when you're down, right? When things are low, but also it's a time to build. And that's what I took out of that Claynosaurz presentation. It really, they're working, they're crushing it right now. And they're not letting anything like sentiment wise slow them down. And I think that that's a really important takeaway, at least for me. It makes me want to get a Clayno, honestly. And yeah, it was very refreshing. So that's all I wanted to say for me. Oxy, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I was going to circle back. I know we kind of pivoted into the Clayno's conversation a little bit more. I wanted to circle back on Coinbase and their stock trading or tokenized stock trading. And lately everyone on the timeline, at least in CT, is talking about how Robinhood's like, I mean, it's the investment to have, it's the equity play to make. I'm actually, and if you asked me 6 months ago, I probably wouldn't have been saying this, but I'm actually kind of bullish on the way Coinbase is going to move with this tokenized stock trading. They've been building in the crypto space for a very long time. They're tapped in the blockchain. They're tapped into crypto. They understand the tech. Their engineers and software developers are blockchain native developers. And like not to PvP, but if I'm looking at Robinhood and they're moving to tokenized stock trading, they just partnered with Arbitrum this year. It's going to take a little while for them to get up to speed. If we're moving towards a world where stock trading is completely on chain, it's with tokenized stocks, I might be putting my money closer to Coinbase here. I think they have a really interesting position being so crypto native and blockchain native. I think they could probably make a good run at this tokenized stock trading play. Just given their experience and background in the space already. So I think it's interesting. I'll be really curious to see what the product looks like when it starts rolling out. And I'm hopeful that Coinbase can kind of tap into this market, at least be competitive in this retail trading market, because right now it feels like Robinhood's got a little bit of a monopoly on it, and tokenized stock trading it's going to be an interesting place to watch over the next couple of years.
I agree. Do you have it seems to me that Robinhood and Coinbase have, especially with this recent announcement, a pretty big lead in terms of, let's just say, this everything financial app. Do you think some of the incumbents, some of the traditional, whether it's actual banks or try to think something, maybe like more like an E-Trade, or like, do you think we see them go the same route? How do you think this plays out from a competitive landscape standpoint?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, at the end of the day, the need to have everything, well, one, first digitized. I think like we're clearly seeing a move away from like physical, banking or traditional banking and more to this like digital world. We've seen it, with online only banks as of late. And I know some people in the war room would definitely disagree with this based on some messages this morning, but we're moving away from this, more traditional like physical location or brick and mortar world, and more of this online world where it's all in your phone, right, or on your computer. So the next logical step for me is an everything app where it has, okay, your banking is in here, your trading is in here, your retirement account is in here, just like what Robinhood's doing and potentially Coinbase is going to move into. So I think, I mean, the logical progression is to be all in one single place. and it's funny because you kind of see it first with social media platforms over the last several years. There was Snapchat that had like, really quick like pictures or videos, and then they had stories, and then it's, oh shit, okay, Instagram and then Facebook now has stories, and then WhatsApp added stories because they wanted to integrate this, and then okay, now we need to add pictures because Instagram has a monopoly on pictures only, and they all kind of start merging into the same platform or the same app, trying to do everything all at the same time, and yet people still use these everything apps in their own capacity. So it's like it's a weird like progression where there's these niche, like very specific products that then start molding into everything apps that do all the same thing that like everything else is doing. So I don't know. I think the movement towards this everything app is probably the progression. And I don't know. I guess I don't know. It better be more than just two players, I guess, is my thought, because I don't think it's healthy to have, just two people in this realm.
I agree. At the same time, I'm concerned with all. I mean, I'm just going to go back to OpenSea. Like, I don't. Yes, we need more than two players. At the same time, I don't know as if it's in the best interest for everyone to attempt to become the same thing. It's going to be very competitive, even if there was only these two. They're two behemoths, publicly traded companies that have more resources than any other of the crypto natives. Just thoughts on that? I don't want things to be taken out of context. I'm attempting to choose my words carefully. I'm not filtering myself. Let me ask you this. If you're OpenSea or anyone else in the crypto native world, would you be jumping into this ring with Coinbase and Robinhood, or would you double down on your specialty?
Good question.
I don't know the right answer. There's probably not one. I mean, it's just it's where my brain goes, and I don't know what it was exactly, but it really did hit me, this Coinbase announcement yesterday. I'm like, oh wow, they're not just they're just not using the everything app as a buzzword or something in a pitch deck. Like, they're doing the thing. And I know it's not going to be for everyone. I know Coinbase is not for everyone. I know that their customer service sucks unless you're on crypto Twitter and you bitch loud enough. Kobe will jump in your DMs and he'll be the superhero. Kobe's not scalable, at least not yet, until they can clone him or some AI agent that's just as good as him. And that's, I still think, a ways off. That's not satisfactory towards my mom. If she has an issue with Coinbase, like, she's not going to have Kobe fix her problem. She's not on, I mean, maybe she has an account, but she's not on crypto Twitter. I don't know, man. Something was, it was like I say an aha moment. It's not the right way to say it, but this, I agree. More than two would be good, but I think that the two in that race right now, while one is more crypto native than the other, I think they've got a pretty big lead already as is, and not only lead in terms of what they've built, or what they've shipped or shipping soon. Their user base is just, it dwarfs probably every other crypto native company combined in terms of their user base. Like, it's massive, and they also have an edge at top of funnel. So I don't know, thoughts on that. I know I'm probably talking myself in a circle here.
No. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think it's they're both of them are in a really unique position. I mean, Robinhood is basically king of retail stock trading, and Coinbase is king of Coinbase crypto trading. And, they've got their niche consumer base that they're now trying to expand in kind of PvP with each other. So like it is really a war between behemoths. I'd be curious if like a company like a Binance or someone else like kind of steps in the ring and tries to start competing in the same realm. I could see that could be an interesting third party that comes in. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, if I'm a crypto native app or protocol that's building right now, I'm probably continuing to build out my niche product that has real product market fit or has some real utility, in the hopes, and this is probably so, I don't know, this is such a mid-curve take probably, but in the hopes that I could get integrated into one of these mega apps down the line. I mean, you look at Kelshi and their integrations into all these different companies in Phantom, and now they're partnered with Coinbase. It's like these kind of integrations are, I mean, that's the highway to success right there, is because you don't have to build out the platform. You don't have to acquire new users. They do all the legwork for you. You get paid the fees or the royalties or the rev share or whatever the agreement ends up being. Like that's the gold mine right there, is being able to get integrated into these different, mega apps or I guess any wallet app or any, banking app or whatever it might be. That's like that's the ticket right there. So if I'm building out this niche DeFi product that, is, really successful delta neutral strategy that can farm yield and or like rebalance liquidity pools well, or whatever it might be, I would, keep building that out, market it as like this great way for people to save, like store money, generate yield, and it's like a savings platform, or whatever it might be, and then get integrated into one of these apps. Because ultimately, if this is the way we're going, where people are going to be storing their money there to trade and then maybe even as a savings account or a retirement account, like what Robinhood's doing, then being integrated into some of these apps is going to be massive. Maybe one last thing that might pivot into another conversation related to Coinbase is the one thing that does really concern me and makes me not excited for the future of the world right now is the integration of prediction markets into these apps. Like people are putting a ton of their life savings into these apps to trade stocks, or maybe their retirement account is already in the app, like in the case of some Robinhood users, or I don't know, they have a ton of crypto in their Coinbase wallet. Adding prediction market and adding perp trading that's easily available to people is, I can only see where this goes south in the way we're heading with this hyper gambling type society that we're evolving into. That just makes me really, really nervous for a lot of people. So
what is the right answer? Is it? I just keep coming back to education, because it's not fair to exclude these financial tools from the masses. It's not fair to have them only. Oh, you have to be an accredited investor. You have to make 250 grand a year, or have over $1 million net worth to even participate in this stuff. Well, the average Zoomer, how the hell are they ever going to get there? At the same time, you're exactly right. Like they should be accessible. At the same time, people are going to get wrecked. There's just no way around it. People it's scary. It's concerning. It's exciting at the same time. And I don't know the solution. I don't know the answer other than better education starting in like elementary school. And I know that's not something that's going to fix things tomorrow. Maybe, I'm not trying to put it on them, but maybe the only idea, like thinking, like I said, if I'm going to critique something, come with a potential solution. The only idea that I can think of right now would be like gamify it. Like, when you play a video game, you got to go through a tutorial first. Like, for some education. Some people are going to, like, the people who understand it are probably going to hate it. But like, before you can open up a 50x leverage long, force that user to go through some form of like online tutorial, some form of education, something to at least attempt to educate them on the risk, and putting a disclaimer and letting them know that that's not it. People don't read that stuff. Sorry. Like there's got to be, I think the answer is, everyone should have access, but we need better education. And it's not just a disclaimer of, don't risk money you can't afford to lose. This could go to zero, because people can read that, people can understand that, and not realize that in one candle, they can get entirely liquidated. Like it's, you can say it, you can read it, and until you experience it, like I do think there's somewhat of a rite of passage in the perp trading world. That's okay for a trader, for someone that's here every day. It's not good for, you know, an 18-year-old gets some graduation money. They open up their Coinbase account and they get wiped out in their first 30 days off prediction markets and perps. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I'm certain it's going to happen. And then people start doing bad things. People start harming themselves. People, you know, it's like, this isn't just, I mean, I vividly remember this. I can't say vividly because I don't remember all the details, but I think it was either Robinhood or Coinbase. And I want to say some kid in Chicago or Chicagoland area had basically traded on margin, just margin, and ended up like their account was like negative 100 grand or something. He killed himself. It's like, don't do that. Like, it's just money. It's just numbers on a screen. But that's the kind of stuff that, like, that happened with just margin trading. And now we're talking perps and prediction markets and stuff that's extremely volatile, extremely high risk. And while I want to say it should be accessible to everyone, it's not for everyone. And disclaimers simply aren't sufficient.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I mean, I think everyone should have the ability to compound wealth, you know, invest, you know, smartly in different markets, all across industries, and limiting it to people who have tons of money. I understand the accredited investor like argument because they're, you know, fiscally responsible and educated on you'd think educated on money. But at the same time, you're right. It's like gatekeeping this from people is not the right answer. Like, one thing, especially with perps, and I've been trying to kind of like disseminate this message, is a lot of people don't understand like the difference between cross margin and isolated margin when they open up a perp account.
Yep.
Like Hyperliquid is moving to allow you to have one portfolio and then to be able to trade on margin off the entire portfolio. So it doesn't matter if it's in the spot, you know, the spot account or the perp account, the whole entire portfolio that you have on your Hyperliquid is open to leverage and or margin, which means it could entirely be wiped out with a liquidation event. And a lot of these perp platforms, their default is cross margin. So what's that mean? Okay, if you enter into a trade on cross margin while having the entire portfolio accessible for that margin trading, your entire portfolio could get wiped out. And that, I think, is on the platforms to figure out. Like, you can't default to cross margin. You can't default to portfolio margin. Like, those types of things are, like, I don't want to say predatory, but like the people that don't understand and aren't educated on it aren't going to know the difference, and they're going to get wiped out. It's an education thing. The default being cross margin or portfolio margin trading is just not healthy, or you know, I don't know, like, I feel like it's not right for people who don't understand what they're getting themselves into.
I agree. And I know it's not as simple as this. Cass, I'm excited to get your thoughts on this and wherever else you want to take it. It's one of the big brains I always love hearing from. I know the difference between isolated margin and cross margin, and I still got wiped on 10-10. Like, it's just like you can still know, and it still stings a little bit. And I know it's not as simple as this. I know it's not the answer, but at least not making it the default, I think, is the first step. Make them go through. Make them. I don't know why I'm having so much issue with the video feed today. I keep freezing. Make them go through some silly tutorial. I know this isn't the answer. If anyone has any better ideas, I'm all for it. I'm just attempting to think, like, what could some guardrail be? Like, maybe make them complete a test first, like something to show basic financial understanding, basic financial acumen, even define cross margin versus isolated margin. Because hovering over a little icon that explains what it is, it's just not going to be enough for most people that have never done this before. By the way, I did, again, not to bring everyone down as we near the end of the show, but since I mentioned it, I did find that story I was referencing earlier. It was it's a Forbes article I pinned up top, and it wasn't 100 grand. It was a 20-year-old saw a negative $730,000 account balance and took his own life. Like, and I think they ended up, Robinhood and this family settled out of court. It was Naperville, and my memory did serve me right there. It's just tragic, and I don't know. I don't want to go on this further. Let's get save me from myself, Cass. Help me get this back on the tracks without being a tragic end to the show, and then we'll go back to Rex. Cass, GM, always a pleasure.
GM, it's a pleasure to be here. This is a great conversation, so I want to dive right into it. I definitely agree the disclaimer is not enough, but the hard truth of it is that the platforms, they benefit from the lack of education. It behooves them on a profit side for them to not teach you enough. But I almost want to counter that point and say that that's short-sighted, because it would behoove them even more if people continue to trade because they are more educated, because they can win more, because they feel empowered by the education, they feel confident in their trading, they want to share, they want to put people on, they want to put people onto your exchange, to your platform, to your app. So I think on one hand, it behooves them to have this version of profit, to have uneducated people lose. But I think it's a bit short-sighted.
I agree.
And I love the exchange that I use. I've used them for like over half a decade. So I don't want to name them because they have really good prices. But similar to what Oxy was saying, they have like spot trading versus market trading. And what's interesting to me is that the classic or the beginner version, when you first get it, actually has like higher rates. And when you get into the pro version of it, which is free, like they don't charge those traders as much. And I thought that was interesting. You don't get the best deal when you're doing like a stop loss. You know, they're not giving you the market price, they're giving you the spot trading price. And so that is, to me, more blatant. It's not like, okay, both versions of the platform, you know, you have to understand the default and you can switch it. It's that the beginner version, you lose out, and the pro version, you don't. So like, these are things that I think are on purpose, you know, where again, the point of, they know it's easy money to get those beginners to make those trades and get the percentages that behooves the platform. I just think it's short-sighted though. So those are my hot takes on it.
Great takes. And I actually think you might be onto something there. Back to like the whole education, the training thing is like, yeah, you have a pro account, but don't just make people pay for it. I pay my $29.99 a month or whatever it is for Coinbase One, and it's fine, it works. Maybe give your new user an opportunity to get that for free by completing this educational course. I know this sounds cheesy, guys. I hate learning management software. I hate going through an online training where I just got to click and I got to listen to this video and I don't pay attention to him and I take the test as many times as I need you to pass it. I'm not a fan of that. We got to do something better though. I really do. Yes, it's on the user. At the same time, if we're making this so widely accessible, I do hope these platforms put in some potential guardrails, at least attempt to educate. And maybe it's carrot versus stick. Maybe it is like, hey, take this educational course for free and you're going to pay less fees. I'm not saying it's the answer, but it might help a few people prevent themselves from getting wiped out. Rex, go ahead, get in here, and then we will. We've ran a little long today. Payne, I appreciate your patience with us in the green room. We got a post-production show, and I got to get out of here. I was supposed to be out by 10, so probably going to have housekeeping knock on the door any minute. Rex, go ahead. I appreciate you joining the stage, Torian. Really enjoyed the conversation and the takes you brought.
Hey, so I want to just to kind of touch on it. We don't really want to talk too much about it, but I'm pretty sure with that particular story, I remember when it came out that he might have been like, I think it was leverage trading with margins or something along that lines, but it was actually a glitch. The crazy part about that whole thing is it wasn't even accurate. And I think he couldn't get in touch with Robinhood or whoever the company was in time to be able to like realize that it wasn't nearly as bad as he thought it was. So, but Kat, I love that your perspective on the short-sighted aspect of margin trading and how that whole thing facilitates, because I completely agree. I was actually right when I got into it, I was super excited when they gave me margin right out the gate, and I started just ripping with Tesla, and it was the greatest thing until it wasn't, and I just got wrecked. So I can absolutely relate to that. And my thought on that is maybe they come up with like some sort of a probationary period. I don't know if I'm gonna call it that, but ultimately where you are essentially weaned on to the ability to do that. Like you get a small percentage of the ability versus like them just giving you 50% or whatever percent you get for margins. Maybe they could give you like 5%, and then it would give the person time to realize what's actually happening, do some YouTubing. If they're, maybe not open to the class or whatnot, I do like that as well, Cap. But regardless, just let the people educate themselves one way or another and give them time before they get wrecked, I think is the takeaway there. That would be wonderful to start seeing.
Yeah, great call. Yeah, and I agree. Margin and leverage is the greatest thing in the world until it's not. It's you feel like a genius when things are going up, and then you log back in the next day and like, oh, I shouldn't have left that trade open while I went to holiday dinner. Yeah, it goes both directions very fast. It absolutely helps you compound your gains and your losses. And sometimes, like what we saw yesterday, within not hours, not days, minutes or seconds, like you just please don't open up a cross margin leverage long or short if you can't be in front of your computer and actively, unless you got stop losses and take profits, baked in. You just can't. You're doing it wrong if you leave open trades open and stop paying attention, because in this market it's way too volatile to be taking on those risks that are. But again, your average new Coinbase user, unfortunately, they're not going to realize or understand or know that until they take the L, unless we collectively do better with our education piece. I'm going to get you out of here. Really enjoyed the conversation. Really enjoyed all of our guest speakers today, our special guests, as well as our guest speakers. You all are bringing the heat, and yeah, really, this might be I want to actually go back and listen to, because there was just so many, just like I mentioned to the Clayno and HEEBOO team, like, it's refreshing. This conversation's refreshing. Like, this space isn't going anywhere, and there's a lot of really smart, really intelligent, really talented people. And I am excited about where we're heading. I am excited for 2026. Just don't blow up your whole port while we get there. Like, it's not going to just happen overnight. It's not going to be easy. I've already asked way more homework than I normally do, but I will one more ask. My holiday ask, what I want for Christmas. You're going to see my keyboard. Actually, one of the things I'm getting myself for Christmas is a dedicated camera, so you won't see my screen bouncing when I pound keyboard keys. Again, blame Mavis speaking, not me. If you enjoy the show, and I'm going to start doing this earlier in the show, so we have more peak listing time, not as after we've already supposedly wound down. I just posted in the comments. I'm going to drop it up above. You've probably noticed, or you've heard us talk about, we're making some changes in terms of structurally and branding, and our guy Payne has been literally working around the clock, and he's working overtime because I've had him hanging out in the green room for 30 minutes. We've even something as simple, changing our title. We've removed daily NFT conversations from the title. You'll see it's now Coffee with Captain, Crypto Markets, Products, and Builders. I would greatly appreciate a 5-star rating and review. If you don't think I earned 5 stars, if you don't think Payne's 5 stars, that's fine. Give us whatever you feel is warranted, but give us some feedback as to why. Don't just leave a 1-star review and say you don't like because I'm a Buckeye fan. What can we do if it's not 5 stars? What could we do to be better? But would appreciate your candid review. Even if you don't want to take the time to type a few words, the 5-star rating is very helpful. If you search Coffee with Captain now, we index first on almost everything. there is still some fishing podcasts, an actual captain who I don't think has published anything since 2020. And for whatever reason, still indexes over us on the Apple Podcast link when you do Google search. It's like Spotify, we're number one. The website's up there. Like we're making progress. YouTube, but the one area for some reason we're just not popping on Apple Podcasts. So appreciate the rating reviews everywhere, from Spotify to anywhere and everywhere you can give us positive feedback is greatly appreciated. But even more so than clicking my base app ref link, I'd even more so appreciate if you take the time to go give us a rating review on Apple Podcast. I did pin that up top. It's in the Jumbotron. It does mean the world to us. We read all those. I may not respond to comments, but or call them out on the show. Maybe that's what we'll do, Payne, is we'll pick actually, let's do this. Here's our homework, Payne. Let's find for Christmas, let's find something fun, do a fun giveaway, a fun prize or reward. Maybe it's a Nobody Sausage blind box. I don't know. If I buy 12 of those, we'll give away 11. How about that? To someone who specifically leaves us a rating review on Apple Podcasts. That sound like a plan? If you like that, flash some hearts or 100 or clap in the Cassis game. So if you have other ideas, something else would be fun, exciting. I'm not looking to buy your love. I'm not looking to. Go leave us the rating review because you genuinely enjoy the show, not because you might get something free out of it. I'm just saying our gift to someone, at least one individual, will our next winner, whatever it might be, we're gonna pull from the Apple Podcast rating and review ors over there. That said, thank you all so much for being here today. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us, not for an hour, not for two, but 2.5 hours this morning, getting through some big Coinbase news, some other announcements from Gandhi, and most importantly, our guest over at Claynosaurz, HEEBOO, and Nobody Sausage. That blind box probably is live. Go support some good teams in the space. Have a great Thursday. We'll be back tomorrow, as always, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, everyone.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.